All right, guys, welcome back to Cruzin with Steak. We're here.
Damn, I thought we already recorded.
We had an amazing episode with Wren Collier. Jerry Cthulhu sat in with us.
I did.
It was, dude, it was mind blowing. I can't decide what I'm going to do with this intro. What should we do? Should we make it a separate episode? Should we just tack it on?
Why would you make it a separate episode?
Because, dude, our episodes are getting super long. I mean, we'll throw it out there. Give me feedback. If you don't want a long-ass intro, send me feedback.
Wing it.
From the listener. I'm putting this on here. It's going to be like a 5-hour episode. But just fucking tell me what you think. If you want the intro on a separate track. Yeah, no, I don't want to fuck the listener, man.
Yeah, the listener,
I mean, maybe.
It's all about.
They might live in their parents' basements.
Yeah, dude, send us some feedback. What do you want?
Fuck
you want
their bodies.
You want this shit on a separate track? Or you want it on the whole deal? Let me know. Grimsteak@gmail.com. So we got a lot of people here with us. We have James Cruz, of course. Myself. We have that guy. We have Cliff Wall, certified Cliff Wall, who's muted right now, trying to talk into his mic.
Certified season's greetings.
Oh, beautiful mic. Jerry Cthulhu.
Welcome.
I think Graham Dunlop's here somewhere, possibly from the Grimerica show. I don't know if he's actually here.
He's here. He's here.
You should call this episode the Labyrinth.
It could be. Yes. Killendell.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, dude, you can say whatever you want, man. We have Nomad, who I haven't heard from in a while. Nomad, are you still here?
Titty face activate.
Nope, Nomad's gone. Nomad's sleeping. And we have Adam, our wonderful dungeon master.
Yes, we stay in Zoom rooms long enough for people to fall asleep.
Roll initiative.
There we go. Man, yeah, we got a whole crew in here. It's good times. Hey, if you ever want to hang out with us, if you're a cool person, you want to hang out, send me an email. I'll send you our Zoom link.
Fuck yeah, man.
We just want to meet people. Just cool
This is
people.
what it's all about. Yeah, it's what it's all about. It's about bringing everybody in together. Yeah.
Community, love.
We need more non-white guys.
Yeah, that is true. We do need some diversity.
It's very sausage,
dude. Well, I don't care about that. It's just, you know, it's there's a lot of white bread.
I represent that remark.
Yeah, I do represent.
I resemble that remark.
My last name's either Wall or Ortega, so Ortega.
Yeah.
Cliff Wall Ortega.
You're a white guy.
Yeah.
My family name is Mtumbe.
Yeah, I like it. That's almost believable.
No.
Let's roll into a segment here. What do you guys want to start it off with? Some
mystery jingle.
Dude, a mystery jingle. Let's go with
should put them on shuffle.
Should put them on shuffle. Fuck it, let's start out with tech news.
Cruzin with Steak. Technology segment.
Teach me on a computer.
Technologist segment.
Cruzin with Steak. Technology segment.
Maybe you can teach me how to use a computer, Jerry.
I just can't believe that angelic voice comes out of those pipes there.
Teach me on a computer.
I need to know how to know
Anybody got some tech news?
No.
Should you cover your webcam?
Nah.
Oh, yes.
It doesn't. You think so?
Sorry, what?
Should you cover your
webcam? Yes, cover your webcam.
It doesn't matter.
What if you have two?
It doesn't matter.
Cover them both.
What do you mean it doesn't matter, James? What are you meaning right now?
It does not matter. It might give you peace of mind that the webcam. Yeah, but dude, you have cameras, cell phones, everything in your house. You have the stupid,
the Internet of Things.
Those, everything. Yeah,
Internet
fuck
of
it.
Things.
Alexa and all that bullshit, and it don't matter.
So let me put it to you this way. On my tablet, I have a camera that faces front and a camera that faces back. Both of them have pieces of plastic on them. And this is my cell phone. I don't know if you can see this or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I made this little doodad that fits under the sleeve of the cell phone that I can use to cover the camera.
Oh man, that's real clever. Did you 3D print that doodad?
I did, actually.
God, that's awesome. I want a 3D printer.
You should patent that. That's like the fucking paperclip for conspiracy theorists, bro.
Yeah, you should. Patent pending on that, by the way. That's a Cruzin with steak original.
I generally put these patterns on Thingiverse, so if you want to go up and see them, just look for anything by some random mass character that goes by Yard Camel.
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
Yard Camel.
Yard.
Do you have some kind of hump that stores water?
That'd be awesome.
No, this was actually something for. I thought of this as it's a little bit off axis. My wife was 3D printing before I was. She knits, and I've often thought of alpacas and llamas that people keep as pets, like chickens, which we refer to as a yard bird, and so ergo yard camel.
But a camel's a dromedary, not a alpaca.
That's true.
Oh man,
All right,
we're getting
Jay.
real,
The form's very
real
similar.
technical.
All right.
Ooh, science.
Because
Apology.
if my mic wasn't expensive, I'd drop it.
But yes, please do cover your cameras.
Why?
Yeah.
Again, yeah,
I mean, I see what.
reasons there.
So why would I cover my camera? Actually, the microphone is pretty bad too. But there is existing malware that permits people to hot mic your microphone on your phone without your phone being on, and to activate your camera.
This reminds me, I listened to, I think it was like a Radio Lab, and it had to do with like surveillance and how they have technology where there was this like bag of chips on like a table inside of like a house.
Mm-hmm.
They have technology where they can actually get audio off of like how the potato chip bag moves from like the reverberations of sound.
Yeah.
So they could like, they could be outside of your house looking through the window with a camera and point it at the potato chip bag. And then the potato chip bag, they could analyze the reverberations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this
They
goes way
did
back.
that infringe with glass.
Yeah, this goes way back. This goes back to the 80s even, where they've been doing this with lasers, where they look at the reflection of the laser and get the vibration from a pane of glass. And so what as a countermeasure, what a lot of intelligence people were doing was attaching a set of speakers, or a speaker, a bass speaker in particular, to the window so that it would vibrate randomly, and the source audio for the window would be much louder than any conversation that was happening inside. But then they realized that, if I focus on something inside the room, it's not being vibrated by the speaker; it's being vibrated by whatever people are talking about, and then they didn't have to deal with the noise from the window.
Well, they could also use the speaker as like a control or like something to reference everything else off the sound waves.
Yeah, like for noise cancellation. Yeah, but they didn't need to do that because they weren't picking up vibrations from the window after they were focusing on the bag of potato chips.
I heard like smart meter tech could like basically get all sorts of like basic light and sound information from any room that.
Yeah, so this is something that I actually do have some experience in, right? So go ahead, Jerry.
I heard that only houses with smart meters are the ones that caught on fire in California. You know how it was hopping around?
I saw
Basically,
that picture.
Almost every house has a smart
But
meter.
some don't, and those did not catch on fire.
So that's
like
true.
99%
All the
of
houses with
houses
smart
have
meters
smart
caught
meters.
fire, but basically everybody in California has smart meters. So yes.
I didn't say it was true. I said I heard.
Oh no! I'm not disputing the report.
Everyone who breathes air dies.
Life is a sexually transmitted terminal illness.
It is.
I know.
Here's a topic I wanted to bring up real quick. I heard another like little investigative report about how they use satellite dishes to, they're constantly monitoring,
Satellites are a hoax, dude.
No. They have this actual technology where they take. Okay, now you're derailing me.
Yeah,
but they take snapshots. So then if a crime happens, they can go back. They can go backwards in time and check, where maybe like a van with some criminals in it went.
Ooh. Enemy of the state.
Right?
Like a time lapse.
But there were a couple states in the United States that were considering using this for their police forces. And it went, I don't know if it was like Texas and then maybe like Baltimore, but they were trying to put it through like legislation to be able to use this, surveillance technology. And I just haven't heard anything.
Oh, they got it. They got it. Trust me, they got it.
Yeah. There's plenty of terrestrial sources for this kind of data. I mean, you don't need to fly in space to do this. Every dumbass millennial parent has freaking baby cams, audio recorders that are repeating audio out onto the internet. I mean, it's just people have completely given up any kind of idea of propriety and privacy.
It's gone. That's way gone. Yeah.
That's why I have this third eye, because it throws off the camera.
If you see something, say something. All right.
Okay, I got a story.
I'm hiding in the field of my smart meter, which is right behind this wall.
If I lived by that, I would walk around yelling bullshit all the time.
Oh man, dude, I was tackled with the idea today. Babylon. It sounds like Babble on, dude.
It does.
You're right.
Didn't I just say that? Didn't I just say that?
Didn't I just say that? Certified Cliff Wall catchphrase.
Did you just really figure that out?
You son of a bitch.
The Tower of Babel.
That out. Come on, dude. Come on. The city of Babylon, and it's like the I don't know, like a.
It's a song from Squeak, Babylon 9, right?
It's like a loose draining pit, and they got all these people living in Babylon, and they're taking all their energy because they're just stuck in like a logical thought form, like talking about other people instead of getting somewhere with their fucking life.
Mm-hmm.
That's how people are, man.
Did you ever hear about the Jewish kind of what is it? It would be considered like what do they call those stories that you learn a lesson from?
Fables.
A fable?
Aesop?
Well, yeah, fable. Well, the whole idea is that they talk about rumors, and telling rumors and talking about people is kind of comparable to taking a pillow full of feathers, and once you rip it open, you just never get those feathers back into your pillow.
I try to never do that.
Yeah, I try not to talk about people except for you guys. I just talk about you guys.
Right. I appreciate that.
I don't do anything illegal, so I have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Legit.
That's like
my approach is a little more chaotic. I just freaking talk about fucking everybody because why not? What the hell?
Yeah, there you go. I mean, if you talk about everybody,
you're just a joker, Adam. You just want to see the whole world burn.
That's right.
James,
that's right.
James, your mom just joined? James's mom?
My mom's here. My mom's here.
Say what?
Where's James's mom?
He just joined, or she, rather.
Where?
It's actually not James's mom. It's James' mom.
James' mom. You're right.
Poor grammar.
My mom
is quiet.
I bet it's Darren. I bet you $1 it's Darren.
Yeah,
it's totally Darren.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the whole Grimerica crew here.
I don't know how I knew that. Just did.
James, you look just like her, dude.
Yeah,
totally.
She's just like her.
She's super hot with a huge hole.
She's looking good today.
The resemblance is uncanny.
Beard, no.
You can't can the resemblance.
Are you guys still on your mushroom trip, Darren?
Are you still frying?
Still tweaking?
Darren's not talking.
He's too high to even talk back.
Yeah,
he's just listening.
He's like me. He can't get the words to come out of his mouth.
Silent treatment.
Hit us with the revelation.
Organic and natural, though, James.
Yes.
Just the stems, not
so. Any more tech news, or should we wrap this segment up?
Tech. I don't know. I mean,
I went to the thrift shop today, and I picked up what do they call it? one of those little jigs, one of the jigs for like a pocket drill hole, pocket pilot holes.
What?
Okay. Countersunk bit.
Yeah, just a little jig.
Nice little jig, Felix.
Very
or Cliff
nice.
Wall.
Very nice.
Big
Yeah.
drill.
Nice.
Big drill.
Nice.
Mechanical
I
tech.
have tech news.
That's technology, right?
That's
I have
dude.
tech news.
All right, let's hear it.
So I watched a video where this person was using or testing to see if the latent audio pickup from phones, like that apps ask for, was actually being used for targeted campaign advertisement. And like this couple who didn't own cats talked about cats a lot to see if they would get targeted campaign or advertisements for like cats, and it really happened on them. And it just goes to show, I mean, if they're not using it at like the worst of levels, they're at least using it on those levels.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're all gonna die.
Yeah, there's a timer. And it's counting out to fill a giant bag full of substance.
Cut the blue wire.
Man.
So
If you had
during
a-
our apocalypse, are we allowed to skip the Planet of the Apes section and go straight to being ruled by space carrots?
I think so.
That's some tech news right there.
I think I
Just totally skip it.
It's the space mantids, man. They're the ones that are going to save us from ourselves.
No, they're the archons.
No, they're mantids, man. They're sitting there, they're praying all day. They got big beady eyes.
Because they're praying mantises.
Jerry, what were you talking about? What were you talking about in Nox Mente about like raccoons becoming kind of more evolved because they eat the burgers?
Yeah, exactly. Well, what Billy brought up was the fact that apes. It said that the gorillas lost that muscle that holds the skull cap down, which was restricting brain capacity.
Uh-huh.
There's this muscle that went from jaw to jaw. I'm getting killed by a bear. Hold on.
And they ate
Sorry.
like
Kill a bear. No, so basically, gorillas were eating raw meat. They'd kill stuff, they'd eat it raw, and they have this muscle that goes from the jawbone across the head, and it acts as like a reverse chin strap that kept the skull tight. When man discovered fire and chewing got easier over time, that muscle laxed up and allowed our brains to grow. That's
Jerry,
the
I'm
acceptance.
pretty sure ETs went in there and they just straight up modified our DNA.
ancient aliens.
Okay, whatever. I don't believe either story, so I don't
Do you
know.
figure it's like a firmware upgrade then?
Yeah,
It's kind of a tech story.
yeah.
But then what Nish was talking about how we throw all of our food away in the garbages or whatever, and that raccoons are eating our cooked meat,
Right.
and
That's-
that they're
that's
somehow
absolutely true.
evolving.
Look
and
at
also, like,
crows.
birds. Yeah, crows.
Crows are so smart. Dude, they're
Crows
crazy
use
smart.
tools.
Yeah,
The only-
and they're problem
I
solving.
thought
What?
squirrels. I'm
Dude,
just gonna say
They use-
squirrels.
They don't fashion and use tools like crows do.
Yeah, dude.
did you
Did
guys
you
hear
know
that story?
Crows
about
are
the
wicked
girl who
intelligent.
she fed crows and they brought her like jewelry that they found. and
Yeah, I
stuff
saw
like
that. Yeah, I've seen that before.
Did you
I
know
want to go feed some
Oh,
fucking crows.
Let
that guy.
talk.
That guy has a. Did you know?
Keep
that
Let's
the
hear it.
top two, the more you know, dude. Did you know that the top two threats to power distribution, plants
And the
that grow and touch wires, and
sun.
number two,
It's magma.
Cooked meat.
Squirrels.
Raccoons.
squirrel.
Yeah, dude. Squirrels hit those transformers.
Squirrels that short themselves out and blow up transformers. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was what took down CERN. Wasn't that just like a little badger or something?
That was a
like,
weasel.
It was a weasel. Yeah, it took down CERN.
I forget what it was called. But some kind of weasel. The CERN weasel.
Yeah, the CERN weasel.
The anti.
That sounds
Moving
like
on.
All right, let's.
Who knew that a weasel could take down Kali?
Oh, dude. Oh, right.
No, it's
Exactly.
Shiva. It's Shiva.
It is Shiva. And on that note,
Oh, Shiva, yes.
I'm like, holy fuck, I wanna I wanna bust down a door and start eating your meat mountain.
Cruzin with stay. Health slash food segment.
Eating your meat mountain. Grab a bite to eat while you're listening to this. It's good.
Yeah, get some burgers. Maybe a nice spread.
Yeah, nice spread. Maybe some ribs.
Some ribs.
Cruzin with stay. Health slash food segment. The most health conscious podcast all along the platter. conscious podcast.
You guys got some health or slash food segments? You got anything for me?
I got 7 things you never knew about Red Lobster, straight from an employee.
Let's hear it.
All right. Let's see. Red Lobster has been around since the 60s.
Okay.
1968. Yeah.
Poisoning people since 1968.
Yeah,
those
man,
butter garlic biscuits, though. Come on.
Oh yeah, hush puppies. Hush
Yeah,
puppies.
cheddar, yeah.
Hush puppies used to be served instead of Cheddar Bay
That's
biscuits.
correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Until the 90s, Red Lobster
Nice.
served hush puppies at the start of every meal. Cheddar Bay biscuits were introduced in 1992 under the name Fresh Baked Hot Cheese Garlic Bread.
I
Cheddar
remember
biscuits.
the rollout party.
Yeah. And now Red Lobster serves a ton, like a metric ton, like a ton of the biscuits every day.
Say what?
Yeah. That's over 958,000 a day.
That's
That's like a shit ton of carbs.
They're baking approximately every 15 minutes.
Damn.
It's like the breadstick from Olive Garden.
Yeah, dude. Oh
man.
god.
Yeah, but those are nasty.
Dude, what about
Dude, they're not a
do you guys
Cheddar Bay
have-
biscuit.
Do you guys have
Yeah.
Fazoli's by you? All you can eat breadsticks when you go in there?
Oh God,
Dude, those are
It's like
killer
a
breadsticks.
it's like a carbohydrate nightmare.
Dude, give me them carbs. I'll take them.
If you
I'm already falling into a diabetic coma just listening, for crap's sake.
if you stack
A ton of Cheddar Bay biscuits is enough calories to power Utah for like 9 minutes.
Oh my god.
If you stacked the number of Cheddar Bay biscuits served in one day, it would be 203 times the height of the Eiffel Tower, 137 times the height of the Empire State Building, and 6 times the height of Mount Everest.
That's power, baby.
That's a lot, dude.
Dude, that's a shitload of Cheddar Bay biscuits.
And it'd have better architecture too.
Do you have any
And if-
more comparisons of?
Yes.
And
Oh,
if you threw
many
all
of
of
them?
those cheddar biscuits at like a stadium or something, you could totally just decommission that
How
shit.
many Great Walls of China?
I don't know.
China.
You can't extrapolate.
You can see this
Inquiring
biscuit from
minds want
space.
to know.
Yeah. There's a sneaky Cheddar Bay biscuit policy. Through Reddit, they said that according to Red Lobster employee on Reddit, there is a reason that the table will have an odd number of biscuits for the people. We bring 1 biscuit for every person at the table, plus an additional biscuit for the table. Corporate policy. So
You guys
I
ever play
always
biscuit?
order more when they bring a basket. Oh, please bring another basket right now.
oh, please bring one. Yeah. Lobsters are cooked alive.
Yep,
Of course.
head first.
Yeah.
Poor bastards.
Ah,
And then basically just a couple other things. There's an easy way to save money. You could just join some stupid club thing, you know. And I think this is their little pitch. But
you can buy the biscuit mix at.
yeah, you can. I've made them before, and they taste just like it. Yeah.
I have a funny lobster story if you want to hear it.
Let's
Bring
hear
it.
it.
There's a restaurant here in Atlanta called, I forget what it was called, but they had an all-you-could-eat lobster, like on Sundays, once a month. And I tried it once, and I think I ate 21 lobsters.
God.
Oh, dude.
They weren't that big. They weren't that big, but I did eat 21 because it was like $50. I wanted my fucking money's worth. But
Lobster champ.
dude, I haven't had lobster since then. It was so disgusting. Like the taste of lobster by that last one was like,
Were you,
So,
you were
if you-
using butter, of course.
yeah, it's been almost 20 years.
Have you guys seen those the game, the claw game that comes and you can actually get lobsters? with the claw game?
Is that how you
Like
pick your
live
lobster?
lobsters?
That's how you
Pick your own lobster?
Yeah, I went to a restaurant around here where you
Man.
pick the lobster with
That's
the claw.
kind of cruel.
All you
That
can eat
seems
lobster.
far more cruel than boiling them alive.
You know, Gordon Ramsay
boil
doesn't
them
do it
after
like
that.
that. Gordon Ramsay puts a knife through their brain right before.
Yes, that's
Oh, yeah.
supposed to
All you can eat lobster, and
Dude,
that
the-
lobster ate so many freaking Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Oh, feed it Cheddar Bay
Really?
biscuits and just let it fatten up on that. God,
If you're
that'd be a
really worried
delicacy.
about a sea insect having.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just the bugs of the ocean. Like you smash a bunch of ants, and who
You got
cares?
problems.
Dude, that's why they're gross. Fuck that.
So you're gonna eat
fucking
roast
Yeah, dude.
spider on a stick?
I don't eat anything from the sea.
It tasted
I just don't
like
trust it.
Really?
Oh my
I
God.
eat shrimp poppers,
Dude.
man. That's about
Dude,
as
I
far
don't
as
do
go.
seafood. Don't do seafood.
Dude, they had another food thing. They have Twix spread now.
Twix spread? Explain
Oh, yeah,
yourself. like
peanut
Nutella?
butter. Like peanut butter. Yeah,
Man.
Yeah,
dude,
That's
sounds pretty good.
horrifying.
it's fucking
I like it.
amazing.
You remember? Is it
like
like
it.
those dipsticks from?
Yes,
like, the
you could
Frosty?
like dip shit. It's like dip shit, right? Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you could dip
dipshit.
shit. Nice.
Yeah. And so anyway, fucking
So, like, I'm thinking if you sit down to the table and you order those, you should just bring your insulin with you. Because damn, that's
They
like
should
eating
just spread
Nutella
it
with a
everywhere.
spoon.
Pump it into my veins.
What's wrong with that?
Sounds pretty awesome. Any health tips? Graham, how's your biohacking going?
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Bucket fills of Twix spread.
The dry skin brushing's going good every day.
Dry skin brushing? You want to elaborate?
Is there a pile of shaving somewhere?
Exfoliation.
You just brush it all off? You do any coffee enemas
Brush it
lately?
towards your heart.
How's your bathroom, mom?
How are your thighs?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Good.
Get a good look at the pedicure there, James's mom.
I guess
James
he's
is
not going to
mom.
elaborate on
No,
it.
he's not gonna
No,
talk.
he's
she's
not
talking.
elaborating.
She's not gonna talk tonight.
Graham's just waiting for D&D. He's all
Her
clammed
mouth
up.
is full.
Anyway,
He's staring at his spell book right now.
He is. You know he is. Just waiting to play. Come on, I
I'll
hope
tell
these
you what, with the
fucks.
biohacking, I feel bad because I don't remember the fucking details of all the benefits. I'll show you something. I will show you something. Hang on.
Circulation, I'm guessing.
Like 2 weeks vacation, 7 paid days off.
Stronger fingernails.
you guys like Sour Patch Kids?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Oh,
They're pretty good.
Okay.
Not a lot, though.
Well,
Okay,
they have spicy Sour Patch
Wait,
Kids.
stop. Stop, James. What is this? What's that water? John
Element
Ellis 114
114
water? Element 114?
Oh wow, that's the clearest water ever, or something, right?
See, James knows.
Yeah,
The clearest
yeah.
water ever?
yeah. It's like whatever.
Sounds like a fucking scam.
Is that the, what is it?
no, man. Yeah, listen, he'll tell you what it is.
No, go ahead, James. You can try.
Well,
It's-
I think it's been. I don't know when you say
Distilled.
distilled or whatever, but like 8 times or something, right?
distilled 100 times.
Yeah, okay.
What?
Some ridiculous
It's
amount.
been distilled so much that it's so pure. It's like there's all
How
the
much was it?
deuteriums out of it.
The reason they have to do that is because it comes from toilet water, man. How much?
It's filtered through
Recycled toilet water.
chlorovium.
Don't they call it like cavendated or cavendished or what's the word? Like
Cavitated.
cavitated.
Habitated water.
Like out of a catheter.
They're distilling it by
No, it's just like that. You let the water like rotate naturally, like clockwise or counterclockwise, and
That's
then
not
And it
cavitated.
restructures it, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
it restructures it.
The
Yeah,
molecule, right? The molecule of the water.
yeah
I
it's
love that. I love the
fascinating.
whole water thing, dude. That's a
Cavitation happens when it's decompressing.
I love water.
Can you legitimately taste a difference?
Yeah, it tastes very wet.
Okay, exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Just like James's mom.
Oh, got it.
Have you guys ever gotten like sweaters on your teeth?
Yes.
Yeah, that was just a question.
From like
Sweaters?
soda.
You call it like sweaters on your teeth. Like if you wake up and you haven't brushed your teeth in a long
Shit.
time, you get, like sweaters. on
Oh god, that's so gross, dude.
Man.
Yeah.
I have gone looking for the monkey that slept in my mouth.
your teeth. Yeah. I do every morning. Like I'll just brush my tongue with water just before I eat and everything, just to get rid of all that kind of
Right.
like gunk and
brush my
stuff.
tongue.
Well, dude, you have those epic breakfasts every morning. I see them.
Yeah,
It's just some
I gotta
great breakfasts.
clean my palate, baby.
Yeah, get that palate all clean.
Pop Tarts,
No.
toaster strudels.
Share a memory that's unique to you.
Gluten-free pancakes.
A memory worth retelling. And don't be
is the absolute
afraid of
best.
being judged. Cause cruising with steak is a designated safe space.
Yeah.
Who's got a good story to share with us?
Anybody.
Graham does.
Graham, you got a memory that's unique to you?
Who's Graham? Graham doesn't have a good story to share.
Oh, he's in character. Leave him alone.
Darren, you got a good story? A nice story to
I
share
don't
with
have
us?
any story. A story?
Yeah, just anything, man.
Mom, tell
Something
the
cool.
story when I was growing up.
She was a little piece of shit. Did you read my hate mail yet?
No, not yet. We haven't gotten to it. It's some great hate mail though.
Shut up!
Fuck you!
Nobody's got any stories? I know Cliff Wall has
Oh,
one.
come on. Yeah.
Okay, so
I want to hear some stories from Felix.
this is not a story, but this is kind of like a chronological thing. So I do journal entries every day. So I've been doing them for every day for like the past 4 years. So 3 years ago, and I'm not going to give you details, but I took a book out of the library entitled "Going Home: Jesus and Buddha as Brothers," and I don't remember reading it that much, but that's exactly to the day, November 4th, 2014, and I think I voted. And then also 3 years ago to the day, I noticed that I was getting a little chubby and that I needed to get rid of the chubbiness.
Well, you're looking great now.
It wasn't like fat, but just maybe it was getting a little like what do you call it? Paunch. So
Like
I
punch
said
from
here,
chips punch.
just like, yeah, probably just from eating those carbs. Right. So I mentioned at the end of my little diary journal entry that I need to get rid of that little that paunch.
I like punch. What was his buddy's name?
And then also I talked to my dad on the phone about puncture wounds.
Oh, nice.
3 years ago to the day.
Like a sucking chest wound?
Like a nail through the foot.
Oh, I've done that.
That would be a sucking foot wound.
I'll tell a personal one.
Ouch.
17 years ago today, I got married the first time.
It's your anniversary.
Oh, the first time? Oh, no.
First time.
It's your ex-anniversary. That doesn't count.
Anti-anniversary?
Anti-anniversary. All right.
Kind of the thing that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Anniversary.
Yeah, man. I was in a 5-year relationship at the time, going through college and all that shit, and just partying my brains out. And then we ended up getting married, and
it sucked.
Yeah, no, the bad, like, oh fuck yeah, dude, it tore me apart, dude, for about almost 2 years, a year to get over it, and another year of just figuring my life out. So then in that last part, basically, oh, it was a shit show, dude. It was crazy, but I went through a lot of stuff with that, and then my life's a repeating thing with that, with chicks and that kind of that.
Why did you guys choose November?
I don't know
4th?
why she picked the 4th. I don't remember.
Oh, she picked it?
Yeah. I think it was just like one of those things you're looking at a time frame, and then it just ended up.
Did you guys have like little
weekend or whatever?
Did you guys have like little cornucopia centerpieces at your like wedding reception?
I almost wanted it to be like a Halloween thing, like because we were all into that crazy shit at the time.
What about like a glow stick wedding?
Wait, were you like some kind of
that?
goth artist then?
She was very goth. I was still just an old metal, like weird, like Deftones. Like,
did you ever wear armbands, like leather?
No, I never had any of that kind of shit.
How many tattoos do you have, James?
Like 5.
Like 5?
Yeah,
I have 7.
I was saying the other night, like if I had the money to burn, I would totally get more ink, man. But I just
Cruzin with steak tattoo.
Dude, you should get a Cruzin with steak tattoo.
That's heavy, dude. That's heavy. Yeah.
Or we could just get Moai's, get Grimerica tattoos, because that's an established podcast.
I would totally
morph it all into a sleeve. Like I can just all my favorite things in life right now are more powerful than anything has ever been in my life. So maybe it's a sign, like I can morph in all of our stuff onto my arm or something.
Like mighty Morphin Power Ranger tattoo.
Yeah, just bring
say that.
You got enough room?
Find a good artist.
I have a lot of empty room on myself. It's just,
if you find a good artist, James, you can take all the logos from all the things you dig, or a representation, and they'll make it into something for you.
Yeah, those guys are awesome, man. They'll fucking hook it up for sure,
James. Or you could just get fat, and then you'll have more skin.
Yeah,
there you can get our logo tattooed on you, but if you get fat, I'm gonna fucking sue you.
Just a stretched out Moai smoking a joint.
You're fucking my logo up, dude. Yeah. I'm gonna get copyright infringement because I got your logo on my arm.
Oh man,
you're fake news.
yes.
But yeah, I mean that happened a long time ago, man. And we were only married. I was like less than a year before it completely blew up. I had caught her. It was bad, but like, so anyway, but yeah, man, that happened, dude.
She was into threesomes, you weren't, that kind of thing.
Basically, yes. She loved other people's cock. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, girls are crazy.
Yep. Yeah, it was a lot of drugs and a lot of
wrong
dumb
with them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Have you guys been watching The Sacred Plant?
No, you mentioned that, dude. I don't know. I didn't look it up. What's that about?
Cartoon?
Fucking too busy playing World of Warcraft.
I don't play that.
Oh no, I play that.
Documentary series.
Where do I find it? Is it on Netflix?
And what is it?
Is it on YouTube?
Gaia?
What's it on?
Gaia?
Is it on Gaia? Do I have to sign up for Gaia?
Oh, I think Jerry. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh, dude, there's Elvis. There he is.
Oh my God.
Darren, where do we find this? The Sacred Plant.
Yeah.
It's Darren's best kept secret.
It is, apparently. He just mutes and walks away.
What is it?
Didn't I just say that?
What are you looking for?
Didn't I just say that?
Does anybody have a gym membership in here? Are we still in the health segment?
Dude, I know Graham does. Did you see how jacked Graham was looking tonight?
Gym membership?
Dude, huge.
Adam, do you have a gym membership?
No,
No,
memberships.
I've never had one. Yeah.
I'm super fat right now, man. I've gained more weight than ever.
Dude, muscle weighs more than fat, Graham.
No. It's not muscle. It's
yeah.
Honey buns. You've been eating honey buns.
Dude, dip it into the
my
cookie
diet
jar.
is stuck, and my exercise is really lame.
But you're drinking that 100 times distilled water. You should be the healthiest person in the world.
I do have that treadmill now, though, man. We bought
I,
a treadmill like a month ago. I've never stepped on it yet.
I quit eating carbs and stopped eating wheat and grain products.
Oh,
good job.
A month and a half ago, and I have lost 32 pounds.
Oh, nice work, Adam. Very nice.
How's your cognitive? Like, is it? Do you feel more switched on?
Honestly, I am sleeping better.
Oh, nice.
I am actually functioning and more focused during the day than I have been. I do notice, because I cheat every once in a while. I'll cook for my mom. I like make her pasta, and because I don't like to have to cook sometimes 2 different meals. Like if it's a night we're going to podcast or we're going to game or something, I'll just cook the one meal. And so I might cheat and have pasta. And I notice that about 45 to 60 minutes after, I do start feeling sluggish. And the next day I have I think the closest thing to what I think a hangover is for people who drink.
Yeah.
And I feel like crap. And I'll feel like crap for about 2 or 3 days till it works its way out of my system.
Have you?
So I don't cheat a lot anymore.
Have you put a new notch in your belt?
I had to buy a new belt. I am not kidding you.
New clothes?
Yeah, my clothes.
Yeah.
Nice.
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Dude, I need to
much,
put on some weight. Throw my.
I wonder how much. I wonder how much all of us weigh.
Well, I can definitely tell you how to put on weight.
Doesn't work.
Oh, you want to do it?
I think I have parasites or something.
A group weigh-in?
Knock your neck and sit on your ass. That's all it takes.
Best way to lose weight is a tapeworm.
I probably have parasites. It's the only thing because I just can't put it on no matter what. I figured after I quit smoking, I'd start gaining weight, but no, nothing yet.
We probably.
I think the other thing that sorry, go ahead.
I was just crunching numbers in my head about how much all 9 of us weigh to combine. It'd probably be about.
I'm like 206.
What are you gonna build a boat?
Ton and a half.
Maybe a ton of
No, we're not even
the other thing.
We're a Chevy.
We shouldn't even be a ton.
What about like a half a ton?
Maybe a Volkswagen Beetle. Maybe.
So what? Say if we just say everyone's 200 pounds. So what? There's 10.
200 times 9, 1,800 pounds. That's isn't it
almost.
That's
almost
a ton, dude.
Well, isn't there a difference?
2,000. Yeah. Well, a real ton is 2,200 pounds.
Yeah, that's a metric ton, isn't it? Because there's a ton and a metric ton or something like that.
2 different tons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
we're
silly.
You got worms, bro.
Dude, I think I do have worms. I think you're.
Yeah, you got to get some of that shit, man. You got to order it off the line and eat it and see if those worms come out in the toilet.
Dude, I don't know if I want to experience something. I have to. I got to try it now.
You got to try it.
Yeah, because dude, it's
I was I was thinking about starting a shit picks category of the chats.
Dude, do it.
Come on, you guys have already.
We should do it.
Right now, I'll pound you.
Yeah.
You should see how many of us have parasites, dude. Because someone was talking to me just yesterday, and he said just about everybody's got them.
I'm hitting the Google. Let's see what the stats are.
I don't have fucking parasites.
Oh God, no.
That's
If
I like that, dude.
About 14% of Americans have parasites, according to the CDC.
Yeah, so one of you fuckers, somebody in this chat has parasites.
Dude, this guy. It's me. It's not that guy. It's this guy.
This guy's what it was.
Dude, I guarantee it. Has to be.
Half of us have toxoplasmosis, probably.
Can you get
dude, I have
parasites
cats.
sticking it up your ass?
I have to ask, does parasites, does that include in-laws?
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you get parasites from sticking
And
things
adult
in your
children.
ass?
From maybe. It's possible. I mean,
There's
that's
the
probably how
culprit.
I got them.
So you and Grant both have parasites.
I've never done a coffee enema, though. I kind of want to, though. And I need to
He
get that.
does have 2 websites.
I need to have Failed send me the Graham Dunlop as a C-SETI star jingle, just so I can
God.
play it during D&D.
Nah, it's okay.
Hey mom, how was it hanging out with Chris last night?
It was good.
Yeah.
I started out the night by saying that researching UFOs is crazy. And a bunch of people were like offended by that. So I had to backpedal quite a bit because like 3 people were like, I take offense. We went person by person, and the 3 people after me were like, I take offense to that.
Did you tell him he was retarded for taking offense to it?
So then I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, why would you say a thing like that?
Pseudoscience justice warrior?
What? I think you got to be a little crazy to research UFOs.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
You show me a UFO researcher, and I'll tell you he's probably fucking crazy.
Dude, Grant Cameron, he's about as sane as they get.
Yeah.
The research, though.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Didn't Garrett call Stephen Greer Richard Greer during it?
Richard Greer.
Yeah, I was so proud.
So proud.
Garrett stole your handle, that guy. What the fuck?
Totally stole my handle.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, he's like,
Garrett's handle.
No,
that guy's been that guy forever.
He's been that guy for since
Oh man, Garrett's going places, man. He's fucking see how smooth he was.
Dude, I've been that guy for at least 9 minutes.
Yeah, Garrett's doing a great job. I'm proud of you, Garrett. I can't wait to hear what you're gonna come out with.
Yeah, dude, we'll plug his podcast once it comes out, and
Healers and Hellraisers.
Yeah.
Healers and
Hellraisers.
Hellraisers.
Yeah, he's starting one. Healers and Hellraisers, apparently.
Didn't I just say that?
No, you didn't.
Certified Cliff Wall.
That was me.
Remember, let's take that. So I think you said that.
Let's get to the Wayback Machine and go.
Yeah.
Was that a transition of some kind?
No, that was just going back and making sure that Cliff Wall said that.
Yeah.
So if you've got somebody for healers, if you need somebody for healers and Hellraisers, I can put them on to something.
Guys,
Good. Yeah, he'll do it. Yeah, Garrett's great, man. He's a good dude for sure.
Okay, I'll hook you up. You probably already know the guy.
I think we need to do a rescue mission for Kilgar. He's been stuck in EVE Online for at least a week.
Yeah, dude, he hasn't even been on the chats or anything. He's been EVE Online a lot.
He's all right. He's been sending me selfies. He's been at work.
Oh yeah, he said he's
good.
No, there's an AI bot doing that.
He's just got a bot that runs it.
Yes.
He's got a selfie glider.
When he's
James Cruzin Grimsteak. James Cruzin Grimsteak. Hey man, a woo. GRIMETAKN. Gmail, a woo.
We couldn't hear you play that because you're fucking muted.
Hey man, a woo.
Am I supposed to call you Cliff?
I was fake playing it.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Fake plate. We got some hate mail. Let me see if I can find this.
And it's not from me.
No, it's not from any of Jerry's sock accounts this time. This one's from one Corey Tyler, who I'm not familiar with this guy, but I'm pretty sure he's in the chats. Because I sent a call out in the chats. It says, "Wow, your show is the biggest pile of unorganized, off-topic, incoherent crap in the podcasting world. That being said, I truly believe the ramblings of the mad are what will save this world, and your show may be the answer to what we've all been waiting for. Love it. Keep up the great work." Thank you, Corey. And I don't know who you are, so tag me in the chats.
That was a hybrid hate love.
Yeah, dude, that was some hate love.
Yeah.
love hate.
Okay, we got some love poems from Ryne Sigurdson. He donated this week too, so thank you very much, Ryne.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Great man. Okay.
Where's all this money going?
Yeah, send me some of that money.
It's going into the show.
Podcasting's expensive.
Yeah. Yes.
There was a young man called Diego who longed for a pink Winnebago. That night he did dream on for an ass he could cream on instead of a hole in a bagel. There once was a guy named Grimsteak who wanted to eat some rim steak. He went to a bathhouse and asked a gerbil, no mouse, and a companion to share his ass ache. Thank you, Ryne. A couple limericks.
That's nasty. That's fucking hilarious. Dude, that was great.
Oh, what a great guy.
Dude, you're the man. You're coming on the show, motherfucker.
Was that,
yeah, Ryne does.
Was that iambic pentameter?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
And we got a couple from Darren Grimes of the Grimerica show. And this says, I've had just about enough of your rambling bullshit, Mr. Grimjob. And your blowjob cohort, James Fingercuffs Cruz, can go fuck yourselves. Get bent and get bent and take off, dipshits. See you next Tuesday, cunts. By the way, your mom says comb your hair. And then wait, this is a two-parter. Is your ass jealous of the amount of shit that comes out of your mouth? Yes, it is.
Fuck you.
James, and he also sent a it says change my mind. You guys are killing it. You should change the name of the show to Hotter Than Auschwitz.
Thank you.
No, I just spewed Pepsi.
Oh man,
James,
thank you.
James,
Thank you,
Thanks,
Darren.
Darren.
You do the album art for this or for the episode art, you should put with hate mail from Darren Grimes.
With hate mail.
No,
that should be
the not with.
Yeah.
I know. I always like making those. Those are pretty fun to make.
Man. That's it for hate mail, guys. Some good stuff. Thank you.
That made me really want to write some clever hate mail.
Dude, send it in. Grimsteak@gmail.com. Send me. Say whatever you want. I'll just read it.
Oh, James, did you end up finding any of those 60,000 hate mails from your Jesus mud art?
Yeah, did you hear about that? Yeah. No, like I said, that link was to my dude's my old drummer Sean. He was the one that posted the tire on eBay.
You gotta reach out to him. Say, hey, I need those hate mails.
Dude, there was a lot.
Dude, I didn't see Jesus in that picture at all, James. I stared at it for like 10 minutes and I couldn't see it.
You had it upside down.
We should forward those pictures to the Westboro Baptist Church and see.
I'll show it to you. I'll make it better.
Do we have any more segments left?
Wait, James.
What are we missing?
You should go on the Grimerica show and do like a PowerPoint presentation on like with imagery.
So if you turn it this way and you look at it like this, I know. Like some people see it right off the bat, some don't. That's a shitty picture that I found of that, but my mother-in-law taped it. I think when I did the whole news clip.
You should for anyone who didn't listen to the last one, you should recap it.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to tell it again?
Tell a summary of it. It's a good story.
That's a good memory then. Well, basically, I used to race go-karts back. This was back in like 2003. Like these super fast fucking carts. I used to race in like a World Karting Association. And anyway, I kind of like went off the track. It got us all muddy, shitty tires. Ended up changing the set of tires via like working at my friend's garage or whatever that I was living. We worked on all this stuff. And so I take the tires off. I bought a new set. The tires were sitting in the back and we're outside. We're burning one. And I look over. I'm like, do you see that? And on that tire, look at that tire. What does that look? He's like, oh my God. Yeah, it looks just like Jesus. It looks like Jesus. Like if it's his head, it's not like a whole body thing. It's a weird shape. It looks like a peanut. Everyone says it looks like a peanut, but you got to focus up a little bit on the image. And what it is it looks like Jesus's head, like turned down to the right, like he's on like the cross. And then you can see like almost thorns. There's like a crown and everything. It's weird. You'd see a faint profile of his face and his nose and like his chin, and he has like you can almost see a beard strap going up the side. I see that, and I can highlight that to show it to you, and then you'll be like, "Oh, fuck, there it is." But that's the problem with it, because it's like you're training. You're not. I'm not tricking you, but I'm showing you what I see. But people did see it, and they're like, "Oh," but I did. I ended up. So basically, what we did, we were like, man, let's do something with this. I don't know why. I just need to show it, because at the time, remember the whole Jesus on the was it grilled cheese sandwich or whatever like that?
Oh yeah, dude, Jesus was on everything.
Yeah, it was in like
water stains.
Right.
Yes.
That shit blew up. So anyway, I was like, fuck it, we'll throw it on eBay or something, And so my buddy Sean, we put it on eBay, and it started exploding, and I ended up getting on the news. And then it went like probably global, but it went countrywide, and I had friends from like Cali calling me, and I'm over here in Cleveland. Dude, I just saw you on the news with some fucking tire thing. Yeah, and then I had my 5 minutes of fame there with that whole tire thing, and I did a little interview about it, and then we put it on eBay, and then I almost lost my mind. So they started bidding on it. All these people fucking started bidding, and the price is going up, dude. It got up to $1.8 million. And they pulled it off. It was just some bullshit. Like, it was like $60,000 bids. Here's another one. Here's another. It was just crazy. It exploded in like 5 hours, and it was done. Like, they pulled it off. It was like a joke, basically.
But then you got a lot of hate mail.
I got a lot of hate mail, dude. Like, you're a piece of shit. Yeah, like a lot of that. Then I got some people like, oh, you're so blessed because, like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, whatever. I spun off the track. I didn't die.
Instead of they should have made the headline, instead of the blood of Christ, it could have been the mud of Christ.
The mud of Christ.
Ooh, yeah. Man, why don't you write headlines for newspapers, Felix?
On the pod of Christ.
Mud on the mud.
And it was so
cliff wall.
But that was my crazy tire story, man. And man, believe me, man. Like, when I saw that money going up in that eBay thing, I was losing my mind, dude. I'm like, this is insane. And
this is my ticket. This is my ticket.
Yeah, dude.
Feld's here.
Hey, I'm here, and I brought a special guest with us. I brought my service goat.
Large Marge.
Okay, nice. You gotta have the service goat.
Wow. So that was my crazy story about that. But
nice.
I got a lot of stories, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's wrap this bitch up. Anybody got anything they want to plug? Get out there. Hey, everybody should listen to Ascended Minds. Because Ryan's awesome. He needs more listeners, and we love the guy. Listen to Ascended Minds. It's a great show. It's way better than our piece of shit. Yeah, listen to Grimerica. I mean, you guys probably already listen to Grimerica, though. That just goes without plugging.
Yeah, I want to thank some good shows that have come a long way with helping us too. Like Where Did the Road Go? I want to steer normal.
God, failed. You're getting muted.
And I want to thank Joe, Mike, and Jeff from OBDM. They're badass. And Culture, Ryan Peverly. He's good.
Cool, dude. Yeah,
you guys got to listen to him. Yep. And then a new one that I really like, I want to try to get these guys on, is Magical Mystery Radio. Look that up. Listen to them.
Oh, dude, really that's a good show.
Yes.
And Friends to Know, Adam Loyal. We were just on there, his last show. We were probably supposed to put it on our feed, but I don't know why we didn't. Nox Mente.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
We want to talk about Jerry, plug yours. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a podcast, show about dreams on Wednesdays on YouTube.
Yeah.
I will put a show note in the show link. A link in the show notes.
Yeah, Jerry was on this episode, so there will probably be really good show notes.
Yes.
On my versions, yes.
On his version. Yes.
And the man, the myth, the legend, Cliff Wall, a.k.a.
joined us.
Can I plug ocarinas? I just started getting into ocarinas.
Yeah, man, plug them away.
Hook it up.
It's kind of a cool little fluty instrument, and just going to play a little Christmas song to get you guys into the mood here.
Skin fluty, did he say?
Thank you, Cliff Wall. That's certified Cliff Wall jingle right there.
Yeah. You can find him on Twitter at
_ warrior poet.
Yes.
I got triggered.
Yeah, Jerry gets triggered at Little Drummer Boy. He just broke him. Yeah. Well,
You can find us at Cruzin. Yeah, at Cruzin with Steak on Twitter. Go to grimsteak.com for shows and information.
Yeah, I don't
there.
update the website. It's been about the same since we started this show.
Club is your website URL now.
Oh wait, what happened?
No, I put that forward. Infrared pill.
Oh yeah, infraredpill.com. Yeah, that forwards too.
Nice.
I forgot about that.
But if you go to our site, the main reason you want to go to our site is that's where you can find the PayPal link to possibly want to support our show. That's the main reason why you want to go to Cruzin with Steak, and then you'll find that thing that looks.
There's also a link to the
PayPal.
Hive. We participate in Jerry's Hive roundtable every Friday. It's a good time. Good time.
It's a crazy podcast.
It is.
And I just want to thank everyone that listens to this show, and this is an amazing thing. And I want to thank everyone here that's with us tonight, and then everyone that comes on in the future.
Guys.
You're more than welcome to come.
Dude, you want to come on the show? Send me an email, grimsteak@gmail.com.
Hey, didn't I just say that?
Certified Chris.
Certified Cliff Wall.
Yeah, you got two of those, man.
Didn't I just say that?
All right, guys. Enjoy the interview with Wren Collier. Thank you for listening.
Peace, love, and light.
Good night.
Season greetings.
Cruzin with Steak. Get in, sit down, buckle up. Cruzin with Steak. Get in, sit down, buckle up. Cruzin with Steak.
Hi.
What's wrong?
Nothing, man.
What was with the whoa? Am I too loud?
No, you're sounding good.
Okay.
No,
You guys
I
are
think it
coming in
sounds
clear.
good.
I don't have my glasses on. That's what it was.
That's all right.
I freaked you out.
Thought you were looking really attractive tonight.
Who's this guy?
Ooh, now even better.
There he is. Oh, wait.
I have to go pick up my food.
Okay.
Go
for it.
I will. I don't
Tacos?
think I played. No.
Meat Mountain?
Thai food.
Oh, Thai food.
Yes. Enable stereo.
Did we lose
I'm
Wren?
No. He's muted.
There he is.
Hi.
Hello.
Chin on that guy. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's a noble. That is noble right there.
Noble.
Man.
That reminds me of somebody. I don't know who, though.
John Wayne.
Possibly.
No.
I got the nice big movie star dimple.
I'm thinking more like Mr. Incredible.
That works too.
Oh, that's a great movie. They're coming out with a second one.
I know. I fucking love that. That is my favorite Pixar movie ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Very nice.
It's the fucking Vape Club.
It is.
Yeah, definitely.
The Vape Podcast.
Yeah, we vape city here.
Yeah, now that I'm back in the South, at least temporarily, I'm just hitting the Milo sweet tea as hard as I can.
It's too sweet for me. It's way too sweet for me.
It's really sweet, but while I'm down here, it's my drink of choice because I can't get it up north.
So what, you going to a wedding this weekend, was it?
Yeah, it's my dad's getting remarried, and so he's having a wedding. So yeah, it's like a Western themed wedding. So I guess
Nice.
cowboy boots. Yeah. I don't know whose idea that was, but apparently that's what's going to happen. So
Just show up in your hot dog costume from Halloween.
yeah, I really should
roll up on a horse and shit.
What was great about the hot dog costume? I went to a party and the whole time I got really drunk and I started teaching a guy how to do sigil magic, wearing the hot dog costume
While drunk.
Yeah, while drunk. was like, no, man, this shit works. You make lines on paper and you could change the world, man. It's totally fucking awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Change the world.
Well, that's some good content. So I already started recording. We're just going to call the podcast started. welcome, Wren.
I was going to tell a lame story.
Hello.
Yes. And Wren is the creator and author of the Liminal Room blog, liminalroom.com. Check it out. Some mind-blowing shit on there. Definitely.
Yeah, I need to do new articles. I've got kind of an essay I'm working on right now, but
nice. You're working on a book too, aren't you?
Yeah, sort of. I've got an idea for a book that sort of explores the intersection between like occult practices and the UFO phenomena. But yeah, that's a lot of like research I have to do on that. My recent sort of occult or writing efforts have been placed towards an article in the upcoming Street Fight zine, which is the zine of Street Fight Radio. It's an anarcho-comedy podcast, and it's all about just like a magical primer for anarchists, just like explaining to people like what magic is, what remote viewing is, like the history of Western magic, and sort of how to do some basic stuff like sigil magic, and meant to get people doing practical enchantment, without kind of giving them, it's like my sort of update to Grant Morrison's pop magic, which is a very lofty thing to aim towards, but
you're going to approach the people with this notion that this is a natural thing that we can utilize and nobody told you ever. It's not like you don't introduce like, oh, here's the occult and you're going to become a witch,
Yeah, it's basically like everyone has the ability to do this stuff, and everyone should, because you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So it's just wanting to get people more involved in the culture, wanting to get more, people, because I'm a leftist, it's people on the left side of things. I want to get them more involved in magic, because I see how, the Order of the Golden Dawn in the U.S. is run by a hard right guy. And I sort of want to bring people from the other side of the spectrum into the occult.
When you leftist, you mean Democrat or left-hand path?
No, I mean like socialist.
like socialists. Okay. That's Democrat, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like Stalin did nothing wrong. Long live Comrade Mao, that kind of thing.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Cruzin with steak is nice and right down the middle. We don't take a left or right.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
like a dragster right down the fucking track 100 miles an hour.
There's just so much. There's so much battling and just fury between the two sides. It's like
it's all a blur, dude.
Let's all just get along. Like that's all I want to say.
Can you imagine if 10 or 15,000 people started doing some kind of ritual at a concert because somebody led them through that?
Yeah, I mean that was great.
Not a concert, but an event. Where you're like the Grant Morrison 2.0, like you said, where you come up, you're like, we're going to do a mass ritual together, and it's going to be cool, and we're going to you could probably manifest a bag of gold. I mean, you never know, but that would be a very cool experiment.
Yeah, I mean that was Morrison's idea. That I think he believed that humankind was kind of on the verge of a breakthrough into another state of consciousness, and that he just wanted enough people to get involved with this sort of thing to tip the scales over and start that process. And I tend to agree with him.
I do too. But do you think that tipping point is how do I want to say this? Is it really like a 100th monkey syndrome, or do you think it's more of that information is now out there that anyone can research, and there's enough people who are doing it that's kind of snowballing?
I think it's probably more of a snowball effect. If anything, I know Gordon White talks about this a lot, about the idea of the world being re-enchanted, right? Where sort of the magic and the mystery of the world has sort of died off. People don't use magic anymore. It's been replaced by technology. I mean, or even from a social standpoint, been replaced by things like consumerism, and that by engaging with these spirits and re-engaging with the subculture, that we're able to change the world for the better, or at least change the way people see the world to an extent that these technologies, like magical technologies, are reinvented and reinvigorated.
Right, because it might be a use it or lose it situation.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're in a situation where people in power obviously use magic.
Maybe.
I think so. I mean, even if they don't realize they're doing it. I mean, that's
Yes,
what
I'll give you that.
Yeah, like advertising executives and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. No question.
Every logo, every single thing has. Yeah.
Yeah, and that technology is being co-opted and specifically used to just further
to drive
consumerism.
certain agendas, which may or may not be consumerism.
Yeah, and it's frustrating because we're constantly told by groups like Psychop or skeptic groups, whatever, this stuff isn't real. Don't waste your time on it. And that's obviously not true, because anyone who has done magic can tell you it's real. I mean, it works. You just have to do it. It's not even complicated or hard to do.
You don't even have to believe in it.
Exactly. You don't have to, it doesn't care if you believe it or not. It fucking works.
That's because it's the science.
Exactly. Science and art.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just trying to get people to believe that, trying to get people just to try it once, like you might be surprised. That's what I tell people in my article. Try it once. If it doesn't work, well, you just confirmed what you already believed anyway, so who cares? And you just wasted a little bit of time and maybe felt a little silly. But if it does work, well, then the world gets a whole lot weirder, right?
Well, the second time, I think, because a lot of times the first timers who get a success on the first hit, they go through the stage of denial. Well, it could have been this, or they rationalize it. So,
I wanted to mention not an experience I was going to try to do like a couple weeks ago when you guys were doing the initiation in the moon. Whatever, yeah, that 7 spheres thing. Because we right before that we had on Aaron David, and we were talking, and you were just like everyone should just try it. So I'm like, fuck yeah, man, I'll do it. And so he's like, dude, I don't know, if you're gonna try one thing, maybe not this one, because if you don't do all the steps right, I mean, I ended up watching oh God, what was that flick on Netflix, Chair? You remember
Dark Song?
Oh,
yeah,
Dark Song.
Holy piss, dude.
Yeah, that wasn't anything like the moon ritual.
I
though.
know that. It's that's a 6-month-long thing, dude, and you got to do all this crazy stuff.
That movie was good.
As far as the 7 spheres thing, it's like if I mess something up, something could be just stuck in limbo somewhere that I wouldn't know, and come out of nowhere. Fuck your shit up, dude.
I tend to think Aaron looks at those rituals and looks at that practice in a specific way.
Yes, yeah.
That where he believes that sort of thing can happen. I mean, I did the moon initiation. Nothing bad has happened to me. I mean,
well, no, I think it, like you said, everyone had. He's like, I was asking him how do what are these steps and stuff? He's like, well, you do it for you, whatever your idea of what you want to contact or happen. I don't know. I'm still a virgin to all this stuff, dude.
Well, in a lot of ways,
but it's very tantalizing, and I gotta try to get into it more and more. But as I learn more about it, for sure.
It's something where, okay, so you're right from looking at the perspective that it could be something dangerous, right? I mean, that's like a healthy way to look at it. On the other hand, I tend to think that the manifestations that you create through your occult practices reflect in some way your own perspective towards it, right? If you believe it's going to be a positive thing for you, then it's more than likely not going to be. I think Aaron looks at it from the perspective that it's dangerous and that it's violent and that bad things can happen. I think it ties in his sort of Calvinist view of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's also I think, programming too.
Mm-hmm. I think
because he's related. He's related craziness with his stories and stuff. I mean, he's got some amazing oddities going on in his life, dude.
That just tells me he's a very powerfully psychic person.
Yeah.
But also, too, I think the manifestations that he gets, when he does the initiation of Mars, he had the car accident.
Right.
And he has these dramatic occurrences happen to him. I think that is because that's kind of what he's expecting to happen on some level. If you get
me. I really had this kind of epiphany while we were going through that thing. I kind of half-assed it and decided I couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. As yada, yada, yada. I only found, less than a week, I couldn't get that shit together. I have too much going on. Mm-hmm. But what I kind of realized was that it seemed like that 7 spheres initiation was really walking you through dealing with your shadow in a certain area. Mm-hmm. Or one aspect of your shadow, but you don't get to pick what that is. Mm-hmm. It's like it's going to bring something up, manifest it in some way, and then you have to deal with it. But then you overcome that thing, and that whatever, spiraling in your head about that, it goes away.
Yeah, it's definitely sort of that's why I was kind of concerned that maybe if I take it seriously, I should go through the entire path. One planet after the other, because it is like a path walking, like you mentioned, kind of thing. Yeah. You're facing aspects of yourself that are represented by these planetary archetypes. I was
going to say, is it like soul searching as you're going along this path? Like
it's more than soul searching, but yeah, it is. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, is it your own personal belief system?
It's like a vision quest.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. I like that vision. I like that vision. Yeah.
In a sweat lodge.
Yeah.
And something I read about too in the article is about sort of summoning spirits or demons, whatever you want to call them, and how that is something that I think you should have a healthy respect for, because you're dealing with entities that are essentially alien to you and your experience, that don't have a human frame of view on things.
Alien.
Yeah, alien, in that sense. And you shouldn't just be like me and call up a spirit to see what would happen, because sometimes they show up, and if you're sort of unprepared for that event, spooky things can happen. I don't think you're going to get like eaten by the spirit or anything, but like that's something that you.
Is it a feeling? Like
you're not going to call Samael for fun. Yeah. Put it that way.
Yeah. Or you can. They'll show up, but you need to be prepared. It's like a you don't, unless you're like a kid playing a prank, you don't go knock on someone's door and then run off, right? Or not know what you're going to say to them. If you call someone on the phone, if you call a spirit up on the phone, you need to know what you're going to say to it, and you need to know what you're going to ask and what you're prepared to offer and that sort of thing. And I try to warn people about that. Like, don't just do it to see if it'll happen, because it'll happen. I can almost guarantee you, if you say the words and do the things and draw the circles, something's going to pick up the phone. But you just have to be prepared for that eventuality. And that, again, that's something that you should have a healthy respect for. And but when you're talking about things like sigil magic or whatever, practical enchantment, talismans and stuff, I mean, just do it. Like, you really, I don't see a whole lot of danger in doing those sort of things compared to other aspects of the occult.
It's no different from blessing or praying over something, or
you're right,
reading the Bible in front. I mean, however your magic works, it's whatever. It's you're imbuing your energy upon.
It's the Catholic Church, just magical rituals every week.
Well, those are cannibalistic rituals, but yeah. I had a question for Wren before I lost this thought. Going back to, you talked about Gordon and his animistic view of the universe. Mm-hmm. What do you think would be the spirit type that, or would technology be a vessel for that spirit? And if so, what kind of spirit would that be?
As in sort of like a spirit of mankind?
Well, no. Like in animism, you've got trees there's tree spirits.
Oh, yeah.
There's rock spirits and there's animal spirits, right? What kind of iPhone spirit is it?
Well, the way my sort of animistic view of the world goes, I tend to think of it more, I guess, in a Shinto kind of style, in that I don't necessarily think that every rock has a spirit, every tree has a spirit, but rather that the requirements for something to have a spirit aren't necessarily limited to organic structures, right? But it's sort of like the idea of like cursed places, like an area, a house, or a tree, or a certain rock or a waterfall can gain a spirit through sort of emotional energy and psychic energy that is put into it. Like, I think that's why you have places like Gettysburg that are haunted. They're filled with spirits. Those spirits may or may not be the spirits of the dead. They could be spirits of other things that are using those memories.
They could be reruns too.
Yeah, or reruns. Yeah, but that it's not like there's a spirit of Gettysburg, but rather that area has seen so much, I guess, psychic trauma or psychic manifestation that it has taken on a spirit, or it's taken on a character.
PTSD.
And that's like when we talked to what's his name out in California about that whole hillside with the battle
David
there.
Omen from the Omen House.
The Omen House, dude. Yeah, like the whole freaking hillside was crazy. Like he would go into his house and into certain areas, and anything that was like if he were down in his, I don't know, say his basement or something, he had like these areas that were kind of dug into the side of the hill. And he's like, you would go in those areas and just your whole body would just totally cringe and just fear and stuff. And then you'd have almost the same. And then for Halloween, he was just having this crazy party. I like to almost, I don't know if I want to talk to him again, but we talked enough, I think, last time he was on. But anyway, but he was renting the house next to it. And also in that house, the same type of thing was happening. Anything that was like embedded into this hillside, like strange shit was going down. No doubt about it. Like,
yeah, I think you see some of these ideas. Like most Western audiences are like familiar with like The Grudge, or the movie The Grudge. Yeah. The idea that a place can see things that give it a spirit, rather than it having some sort of intrinsic spirit to begin with.
God, those movies freak shit out of me, dude.
I never heard of it.
God, The Ring and The Grudge and shit. Dude,
those are those Japanese horror movies that got Americanized.
Yeah.
I never watch horror movies.
Well, what's interesting too is you see these ideas. I don't know if any of you guys play video games at all.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're familiar with like the Dark Souls games, what's interesting about those games is that they are presented in the form of sort of a Western fantasy tropes, like Dungeons and Dragons style tropes, but the ideas that underlay the actual mythology are more sort of Eastern Shintoesque in perspective. Like, as an example, in Dark Souls 3, there's this sort of idea of this place called the Deep, and it exists below this cathedral that has had like bodies dumped in it for hundreds of years, and that's a very Shinto idea that a place can gain sort of a character, or it can take on a life of its own based on pollution. I mean, you see that idea into like the movie, what is it? Princess Mononoke, the Ghibli film.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that these spirits of the forest are sort of generated because of corruption and pollution that are put there. And that's sort of how like my animist view works. Like, I think that there are like external spirits that exist outside of Earth, but I also believe too, like things like nature spirits are probably inherited rather than existing intrinsically.
Built in.
What do you?
Built in.
You just say animist, right? Like
animist.
Like, what do you think about like right now? I'm playing. I always loved them, but I'm playing fucking Assassin's Creed, dude. So yeah, you're plugged into this thing, and you can live out these. Do you think that not that I think it's possible, but maybe I don't know how they would even accomplish something like that, where you could manifest into somebody else's rerun via the area you're in or whatever. Like if a memory or a haunting or whatever. That's the way I would think people experiencing like a haunted house or something like that. Like this trauma, this thing happened in this place, and then it's just like stuck on a loop, like Jerry said. It's just played like over and over, and then I don't know what the shelf life is on a memory. I mean, it could be 50 years or something until the hard drive dies. It's like burned onto a hard drive. So if you can tap into these entity or whatever, a spirit, the simulation of this thing, that would be intense.
We talked about this last night with Billy Brujo, and because he said he felt that it was an energetic attachment to some location that just played back a holographic replay of it, right? And I wanted to know, and this is a question for everyone really, is when these quote unquote so-called mediums like the Long Island medium or whatever come out and cleanse these places or clear them, what's really happening there?
They're hitting delete.
Seriously, what are they doing in 3D that's affecting this invisible energetic layer? It's just, I'm just real curious about that, especially if it's a replay kind of thing, a rerun, dude.
On some level, what if they aren't doing anything but just convincing other people that they shouldn't see the thing anymore?
What about people who aren't there?
Like people who, like, I would be interested to see, okay, somebody does like a cleansing. Well, if somebody completely unrelated that doesn't know anything about the area comes there in 30 years, do they have an encounter there?
So they don't.
So if they don't, then I would think somehow they have, I don't know, waved a giant magnet in front of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an energy thing. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. I thought it was just an interesting question. Like, what really just happened in there?
Well, I tend to. Okay, so there's this idea in Hinduism of Indra's net. Are you guys familiar with that? So, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically just if you imagine every cause and effect that has ever existed from whatever the initial cause was. It forms like a net of cause and effect.
It's a giant tree.
Yeah, it's supposed to be sort of a metaphor for the fact that there is no such thing as a first event. Like nothing exists in a vacuum. Like every single event has a cause, and then that event, that cause had its own cause, and it goes all the way back. And there's like an unbroken chain of events.
Not if it was rendered.
Oh God.
So my idea is that these sort of psychic loops and things, they don't necessarily like ever go away. Like they're always there. I tend to think that people are tapping into those like streams of cause and effect through some sort of methodology that's similar to what happens when people do remote viewing.
Well, what do you think when
remorse or something that pulls it in initially to attach it? I mean, or the psychic trauma that occurred there, I'm sure is what anchors it.
Well, too, I sort of wonder too, how often do people actually see things happening on a loop like that? Because
I don't watch ghost shows anymore, but when I did, there were a few investigated places that had footsteps every night. They had footsteps back and forth. No one was there, but they heard it.
But was it actually like a repeated event? Like, was it the same footsteps going the same direction and the same way every night?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I tend to think of like places that have a ghost or a haunting or whatever. The way I typically look at it is that some sort of entity is using those memories or that psychic debris to manifest itself. It's using it as a context, rather than it being an actual spirit of a dead human being.
Right.
Because
Because I don't think spirits inhabit ghosts that are like human spirits. Probably other entities can. I don't know. Maybe I would just think it's more of a fill-in. Like, ooh, there's an empty shell. I'm going to jump in there. And
yeah, like it sees a memory. It sees a skin it can wear for a little while.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it jumps in there, and it's not smart, really. It's just, reptilian, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it doesn't have enough energy to actually make a full 3D hologram. So it just looks like a whatever. That's why they all vary in difference.
So if something's very powerful, it might be able to be seen, like maybe
poltergeisty or something.
Yeah, like more powerful.
Poltergeists are different, but I think.
I mean, you're on kind of an interesting tangent there because, I mean, if you believe the folklore surrounding King Solomon, I mean, he literally used the spirits that he called up to build the temple. Like they picked up the blocks and they were the construction crew.
The djinn.
Yeah. So if maybe back then, if we look at it from a literal point of view, which is probably just metaphor or whatever, but if we want to entertain the idea that it's literal, maybe it means that back then spirits like that had more power somehow, but somehow they were able to establish a more physical form.
I would tend to think it's more that we had a better conscious connection with the spirits then, more so than I think we've disconnected over the years, mainly probably because of the Vatican, because of Rome, all that shit that went on.
And technology.
Yeah, eventually
because of the signals and like all this shit in the air. Maybe that's
right. We don't know what frequency
things.
Our magic connects. Our consciousness connects to the magic.
We've lost that part. Yeah.
Well, we don't know. We don't know where it's at.
Maybe that's why people see Bigfoot in the woods that can pick up rocks and throw them at people and knock down trees.
Shit, yeah.
Maybe when you're out far in the woods, you don't have that interference and things can take a more physical form if they need to.
Right. And what if, I just thought, I've been playing the contrarian for about 2 weeks now, that there's no they. It's just, okay, yeah, there's some bad people doing some bad shit. I get that, right? But there's no overarching they. It's kind of my thought process here. What if the reason that they're doing the frequency thing is because there's so much shit out there, we'd all freak the fuck out for real.
Well, I mean, that's
like
the idea.
Bigfoot on every block,
right? I mean, that's the idea behind the Collins Elite thing from Nick Redfern's
right.
That if we
it's a
open
big
the
place,
doors
dude.
to stuff, that if we allow these things in and we allow this belief in, then these things can take more physical form. These things can actually threaten people. And they felt, they were seeing it from a Christian point of view that these things were demonic in nature.
Well, they probably are, but what's a demon?
Yeah, exactly.
Aliens.
And then what's
background programs?
Okay, so all these areas are able to be possibly accessed. So when you're doing one of these rituals, you're trying to access said person or said being or whatever. I mean, like, and if it gets screwed up along the way of doing these rituals, what is the outcome of something like that? Like,
I think it wouldn't show up. It'd be like dialing a wrong number. You get
okay.
Recording. Yeah. I think if you can't really mess it up, but I think that if you don't do it correctly, if you don't follow the procedure, then things just don't show up.
So that's our way to tap into the like that when these things can just jump in these areas and these other like whatever a spirit jumping into like this memory. I don't
well, think of it this
what
way.
would it be trying to do? Is it trying to cause fear in a person to, how they were talking about that whole Lush thing where they're trying to drain energy or something like that. Yeah. Like,
I feel like, like emotional energy could be used as like a power source. I mean, that's the trope that I've talked about that runs all throughout kind of the past 100 years. And I've got sort of some ideas about that narrative being a manifestation of psychic anxiety people experience because they live in a capitalist system where people are reduced to machinery and cattle.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that deep fear that where all we are is just, blood for a machine that comes into our mythology and our paranormal.
Well, I mean, growing up, man, didn't you feel like you were just a kid, as being a kid or whatever? I remember 10, 12 years old, just feeling human, that wasn't all this like this distraction. I mean, there is a lot of distraction, but some of it's worth it. I like having my phone and shit, and I'd like to look stuff up and listen to podcasts all day. But at the same time, I mean, and it's let me meet Grim and Jerry and you, and I mean, that's cool. This is our way to do this right now. But back then, you just felt like a normal fucking person, man. I don't know. Maybe you might have had trauma though. There's a lot of people that did have trauma growing up, man, and maybe they did experience.
Well, I mean,
you still feel the same, Jer? Like
exactly
you've always felt the same?
Yep. And I've never had any trauma.
I feel different, dude. I mean, I've dealt with traumas. I mean, it's just like, but to
inject some Marxism, I mean, that's literally what Marx says, is that capitalism alienates people. It makes them feel less human. It breaks down social bonds between community groups. It turns people into single units that can then be exploited for labor. And I mean, I think that's what you see. I mean, that's why I'm glad that things like podcast culture and stuff have started happening, because it fights against that alienation. It brings people together to talk.
What do you think about all the cultural Marxism that's going on right now?
Well, what do you mean by cultural Marxism?
Like the whole getting people into collectives and fighting each other, and this is good over that, and political correctness,
all
that shit.
I tend to think there's a lot of tribalism, especially in the left.
Tribalism?
Yeah, especially in the left. Yeah. I mean, you have, I mean, like I've said before, there's not anything liberals hate more than socialists. Like they like fascists more than they like socialists. And, even socialists have tons of different, sub tribes or whatever that kind of fight amongst each other. And
a lot of liberals have socialist ideals and don't realize it.
Yeah, but
not true socialism. European socialism.
No, I mean, well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like neoliberalism is. But ultimately they're still in the pocket of corporation and capital.
Who isn't?
I'd rather not be, but
you have to be.
I can do about that. Right. I mean, I've gotten to the point now where I sort of, I call myself a socialist, but I don't see this world ever making a shift towards actual socialism.
Not the right way. Yeah.
I feel like the forces of capital are too. I mean, maybe I'm just cynical right now because of
you want the Federation, the Star Trek Federation future.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, right. I get you.
Yeah.
Star Trek.
I mean, yeah, I would love that's why I try to get people involved in magic, because I've said this before in my article that magic is post-scarcity. It's democratizing. It puts people on an equal footing.
Absolutely.
This was something that Ingo Swann talked a lot about how everyone has psychic potential, and that it's something that can bring people together regardless of.
Yeah, what if it brings people together, but you don't have to all be the same type of person?
And I don't think people should be.
Yeah.
Do you think it's even possible to have like everybody equal? Like, because I feel like humans just draw to a leader naturally, or like you need somebody in power. Like
that's programming, just like
it could be programming. Right. It's very true.
I think hierarchies.
They did it for a reason. Yeah.
I mean, I think hierarchies form because of scarcity of resources. I mean, in order to secure resources, you have to have hierarchies because
or the air of scarcity.
Yeah, because if you've got one group that has a hierarchy and another group that doesn't have a hierarchy, the hierarchical group tends to be more well organized, obviously, and they're going to outcompete the non-hierarchies for resources.
Right. Well, that's monopolistic ideals, right? Mm-hmm. Tenets.
I mean,
tenets, yeah.
my kind of. It's funny because are you guys familiar with Fourth International Posadism?
Nope.
No.
So this is my favorite. This is my favorite socialist.
You lost me at fourth. You lost me at fourth.
I ironically refer to myself as a Fourth International Posadist, even though I'm not really. But it's a fun idea in that. Okay, so like the main split between Lenin and Trotsky happened between I guess Trotsky and Stalin happened because Trotskyists kind of believe that there should be an eternal revolution, that it should never really stop. And when Trotsky fled to South America, a lot of South American communists and socialists became Trotskyists, and specifically this one guy, I think it was Jose Posadas. I just remember it's like J. Posadas. He was a firm believer in like contact T mythology. So he believed in the Adamski style space brothers and everything. And his big thing was that the only way for communism to win would be if Russia just goes ahead and initiates nuclear war. Because he believed that class consciousness would survive the nuclear apocalypse and that it would destroy all the frameworks of capitalism. And then the Space Brothers would come down and help us rebuild because they were obviously communists.
Obviously.
So I tend to just believe that, at some level, I've actually kind of thought about that and been like, yeah, he's probably right. Full-scale nuclear war is probably the only way it was going to actually happen because I think even Lenin knew that the whole world kind of had to become socialist all at the same time. That if it didn't all just happen simultaneously, it was never going to succeed. And we see now that it didn't so many years ago.
Wasn't that Reagan's message in 84?
Yeah.
What was I going to say now? Fuck.
I mean,
I remember. What political party do you think an artificial intelligent collective would choose?
Whoa.
Probably the Green Party. I have no idea.
I would socialism.
Yeah. I mean, that was my big problem last year in 2016 was that, I fucking hate the Democrats and I fucking hate the Republicans, but I have no alternative. We don't live in a country that has a parliamentary system. We don't live in a country that has a third option or, you kind of have, it's built into it.
It's called post-partisan. don't pay attention to it at all.
Right.
That's what I did. Yeah. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
It's all play. You have no control. You just have the illusion of control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, my whole thing revolves around the idea that I just want everyone to have food, clothing, and healthcare and an education. Like, it doesn't really extend further than that.
Sorry.
No, and those are great. But I would argue that it's up to those people to get that.
I think the social contract between people and the government requires that the state provide these things to people as part of, taxes being collected. It's like these things, I believe, are like actually like human rights, like, and that as a society, we have a responsibility to other human beings to take care of each other, like, there's what is the saying? Like, to each according to their need and from each according to their means. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, I don't mind paying taxes in this country. What I do mind is that our country has spent $625 million a day for the last, 19 years to fight endless
guns.
To fight endless wars in the Middle East.
Crazy, dude. Yeah.
Like, how much fucking healthcare could we have in this country if we weren't spending all that money on endless imperial war?
How many cracks in our roads could get fixed? Our bridges.
Yeah.
Our infrastructure is falling apart.
We could have fucking high-speed rail across the country, which would be amazing.
We could have free education, free college for people. There's so many things that we could do in this country if we would stop blowing up mud huts. And
we can't have nice things because of the DOD.
Yeah.
Gotta drop them Moabs, dude.
Oh yeah, gotta drop them. DOD, they're going to be doing that EMP.
It's coming, dude.
EMP
They're gonna
drill.
shut our power off. It's going to be bad.
Did you read that Anon thing I dropped into the chat?
I read it like a couple weeks ago. I know when he that came up. That was very interesting. I didn't get a chance to read this one, the new one. You said there might be, I think, some new stuff in it, but
the two things he said that are going to be proof that he's legit is that on 11/3 tomorrow there's going to be an indictment of Podesta, and then on 11/6 there's going to be one of Uma Abedin.
Yeah.
Well, did y'all see that article that came out today about Donna Brazil wrote about what's going on?
Yeah, like Hillary Clinton's taking over the DNC or something.
It's great. Yeah, how they got Bernie Sanders. Yeah.
Well, the thing that really stuck out to me was the fact that the DNC was $2 million in debt at the beginning of the campaign.
How's that possible?
They're completely falling apart from the inside out, and good fucking riddance. I mean,
Republicans are next.
Dude.
It's
all
crumble. Well, then they say that what was that recent thing where Trump's the last president? Like, it's over, dude. Like,
I would believe that actually. If you listen to a lot of the alternative people, some of them, like these militia types, are saying that there's,
militia.
Well, I mean,
you've been posting some funny stuff in Discord about that, Ren.
Well, I tell you what, Jerry.
It goes along with what I posted from 4chan. That there is a cleansing going on, and it's just invisible to everybody.
Well, I reported to my local Antifa bureau the other day, and they injected me with some super soldier serum. And I am ready to take the fight to small business owners all across America.
What's the black
November 4th.
They injected you with black goo.
Oh, that was good. They're running with that fake news too. Krang T. Nelson tweeted that out to super soldiers.
Oh my God. Yeah. That was so fucking funny.
I heard that your boss at Antifa, George Soros, is dead.
Oh God. The whole November 4th thing is hilarious because it's like, you just look at it and it's like, wow, Americans have really become the dumbest fucking people.
It's fucking retarded.
It's so great to just sit back and just watch it happen, though. Like, just don't get involved.
I do want to bring up the beauty of all these things that are converging right now on this weekend.
Amazing. There's a lot of power and energy.
Antifa rallies. Super soldiers.
The threat of indictments. We've got Mueller, who's like, now we think he's been turned to the good side, to the force,
The only thing that's going to happen with the Mueller shit, like libs always want to like put all their hope in some fucking guy who's already like entrenched in power. Like nothing's going to happen to fucking Trump. He's not going to get indicted. I don't want people are like holding their breath.
Trump. Oh, nothing's going to happen to Trump.
No. Yeah, and like even back during the beginning of the Trump presidency, there were all these like fucking liberals talking about how they wish that there would be like a military coup. And like, save me, liberal Pinochet, you know, like.
Okay, from what I see, just, you know, from an objective point of view, he hasn't done anything bad.
He's just an idiot.
He's not an idiot. He's very smart.
Just his words. He's like,
come on.
He's not articulate. Okay,
he's not articulate.
He talks like a New Yorker. But
I have a hard time.
Persuader. He talks like he has brain worms from the second Star Trek movie. Okay?
All I'm saying is that.
So do I.
I haven't seen him do anything that would embarrass me like George Bush embarrassed me to leave the country.
Yeah.
I want to say I was American. Trump doesn't make me feel that way. And secondly, everything he's tweeted out about like conspiracy that everyone's
it's all true.
It's all true.
No, that is right. That's the thing that not a lot of people.
He's draining the swamp.
Yeah, he actually
literally
all this terrible shit that he does talk about. It is actually true.
It's fucked up.
He's not wrong when he says things like Obamacare is a mess and it's falling apart. He's not fucking wrong.
No, he's not. The guy doesn't lie on Twitter, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying the Democrats are just fucking butthurt so badly that they're trying to grasp at any straw possible to get them out of power, but they've got no legs to stand on.
What the Democrats thought, I think, was that they were going to have the presidency forever. You know, they thought, okay, we'll let the Republicans get the state houses, the governorships, the House and the Senate.
We'll bring this jackass Trump on board and we'll fucking roll him over.
If you read that 4chan post, it said that Clinton had, or the Democrats had shit rigged to win, but it got unraveled.
Backfired, dude.
I don't think they had shit. Okay, so I think Hillary had the DNC rigged to make her the candidate, for sure.
Absolutely.
Now, in terms of them having the election rigged, I don't think that's true because they're so fucking inept and terrible at what they do. Like they didn't campaign in Wisconsin, they didn't campaign
in Michigan. It's done at the software level.
Like I think that they were so arrogant and convinced that they couldn't see any possibility aside from
they knew it was rigged.
The whole country's red. The whole country's red except like two states.
Well, this is just proving my point. She knew that she was going to win, and for whatever reason that she's got the Diebold CEO and board in her pocket, they didn't do whatever they were supposed to do, so it went down regular style, and she lost.
Yeah, and it's that, and what's funny is that the Dems want to blame everyone but themselves for them losing. They want to blame Russia. They want to blame, trolls or whatever. Like that's the funniest thing. Like Facebook released those list of ads. Yeah.
So 100 grand. Yeah. 100 grand bought like whatever. Yeah.
Out of the sample ads that they showed, the one with like the highest amount of like kind of like, I guess I don't use Facebook, but like shares, like retweets or whatever. It was like 1,200 retweets, and it was something about like building the wall or whatever. And I'm like, wow, that really influenced the fucking election, guys. Yeah, that really. If only those 1,200 racist uncles hadn't saw that Facebook ad about Hunter and Raven, they would have voted for Hill Dog.
And the voting, the turnout percentage in that particular select group is probably 10%.
Yeah, and that's the voting thing's a big thing. The big reason why the Republicans kicked the Democrats' asses so hard last year, and a large part is due to gerrymandering, and the fact that like the Democrats ran a shitty candidate that no one fucking wanted. Only a very small portion of people liked Hillary. She was a terrible.
They could have won with Bernie. They would have won with Bernie.
Yeah, they would have won.
They would have won,
baby.
Easily. Yeah.
Easily. It was Hillary's turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's my turn. It's my turn.
She's gonna run again.
She's gonna run again.
2020. She's gonna run again.
She's not gonna run again.
No, when you drink baby's blood, you don't age that, my friends.
If they're not shot for treason, they'll be in jail. She's not dead.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, like what's her punishment? Do you really think she's gonna go to jail?
No. No. Oh, yeah. If it is, it's gonna be some super classy, like fancy jail where it's like a spa. Yeah, exactly.
If what George Webb has uncovered and if his suit goes through, she's guilty of treason, basically.
Well, then you're fucked. You gotta go Yeah.
You know what? She voted for the Iraq
federal
War.
prison, dude.
Right,
And
exactly. And
literally, I mean, okay, so in a just world, every single person who voted for the Iraq War should be swinging from a rope right now. But
hell yeah,
guy isn't listening to that. But that's how I feel. Like the Iraq War was a fucking disaster. And guess who didn't vote for the Iraq War?
It was a lie.
Bernie didn't vote for it.
Bernie didn't. Nope.
So,
no, you
know,
did
like
not.
in a just world, they would all be in jail, but they're not, and we're living with the consequences of that now. And yeah, I mean, that was my big thing. It's like, you know, I voted for Hillary, but I did it begrudgingly. I did it because, you know, I felt
left a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah,
I did it, and I did it the opposite. I did it the opposite way. I did vote. I don't know. I feel weird about that. I do it now. I used to not do it when I was younger, but now I voted in the last 4 at least. I did Obama once. I did Kerry. I think, yeah, and then because I fucking hated Obama. It's just like it was just back and forth. That's all you're doing. You don't even know what you're doing half the time. You're just on a whim. Not a whim, but like. So I went the other way. I was like, "There's no fucking way I'd vote for Hillary Clinton, dude."
Well, the important thing at this point isn't even the presidential elections. It's really the state legislatures,
right?
Because once there are enough states that go completely red, they can call a constitutional convention and can basically rewrite the Constitution. And that's exactly what they're going to fucking do.
You think it can happen?
It's already being planned. They already have 34 states, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the idea.
Oh, yeah. They want to fix the 14th Amendment and strengthen the Second Amendment. That's
what about 34? They want to change everything?
They need, I can't remember. Maybe
they need 34 states.
I think they need 38 states to call one, and they have 20. They're really close. It's like 29.
To actually call and change, and that's crazy.
Yeah, I just heard about it yesterday.
You know what? Things are old, dude. They might need fixed, right? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know.
We need to put tighter controls.
What did these founding fathers agree upon? You know, it was rights against the government, basically.
But the things that they didn't put rights in there were for us to fight against this illegal corruption that's going on.
Yeah, we need to update that shit kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's different compared to then, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's an old document that was built in a time that was very different from the time we live in now. And I mean, I think the idea was that it was supposed to be a flexible document to a degree. And I mean, that's why you can amend it and things like that. But I think doing like a hard line adherence to it beyond things like the Bill of Rights is something that
it doesn't scale well, right?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. You're a tech dude, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I work in InfoSec.
Very nice.
Damn.
Wow. So yeah, let's talk about some aliens or something. It's politics.
Yeah, no shit, dude. I'm getting back. For some reason, I'm getting back into aliens. Maybe it's like I just want to tap.
Dude, it's Tom DeLonge. Tom DeLonge has convinced you.
Yeah, I'm all about it. I'm all about it, dude. I want to see his stuff. I want him to whip it out. I want him to perform magic.
What are your thoughts on Tom DeLonge, Ren?
Like you just pull up the Wikipedia article for Ponzi scheme. And just put his picture on there, and that's pretty much how
I don't disagree with that. But I mean, you know, he's got something that we've had forever. You know,
he's got something. He's got something that people with a specific agenda have fed him.
Right.
Yes, that's exactly it. He's a mirage man.
I just want to see a product of someone. I don't give a fuck if it's Tom DeLonge or Joe Rogan presenting it, like, or whatever, you know, like, show me something, dude.
Show me some metals, some exotic metals.
Show me some exotic metals that were made in
some anti-gravity technology.
Yeah, dude. We're
can't let that out.
Old space time.
You guys don't get it though. If that shit gets out, the petrochemical industry is destroyed.
Yeah.
Thank God, though.
What percent of the
no more fossil fuels? You know, all that.
Well,
think of all the derivatives of petroleum.
You're lucky in that there aren't physical spaceships. They're UFOs, and that stuff will never come out.
Yes.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. As much as I'm interested to see what they'll come out with, just because it'll be fun to read.
Yeah,
and anything's better than the fucking blue avian shit that's all over the place.
Shit, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, it's such garbage out there. There's absolutely nothing new. The only thing I'm into now is consciousness, and maybe like along the lines of what you were talking about tonight. But it's like I've gone so beyond that, and it's all about just getting
nuts
together
and
with
bolts. It's no more
fuck
nuts
that
and bolts.
shit, dude. Like
Tracks and turds.
If it was built by whatever's flying around, we built it. Germans built it. That's what happened.
It's definitely human technology. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then there's the 1%.
You guys just need to make the next step to the we're in a domed.
Fuck that, dude. No way. I don't know, man. I mean, that's a tough call because you could see it both ways. Just like
I've never been up there. I don't know.
Well, my sort of idea about the triangle UFO thing is while everybody seems to agree that the triangle stuff is like human craft or experimental aircraft, I have a slightly different take on that. In that, if you look at the way the triangle UFOs are configured in terms of like where the lights are, what it looks like and stuff, it's a black triangle. It has lights at each of the corners. It has a big light in the middle.
It looks mirror.
Exactly, Jerry. It looks just like.
I just went through this the other night with somebody.
Was it like a sigil or something?
It looks like a triangle of art from a Solomonic ritual.
Exactly. Who was I showing that to?
I don't know, Jerry. It wasn't.
So somebody's manifesting it.
Let me show you this.
Think of it this way: maybe a triangle UFO. If we want to think, okay, maybe if it is my idea, maybe it's a living summoning circle. Basically, it's like so in this book I've been trying to get people to read called "The Changing Light at Sandover." It's like a book of poetry.
Holy shit!
Like in it, it's like a channeled book in which like the poet, the author, and his partner channeled this entire poem through the use of Ouija boards, where they spoke to different spirits and stuff. And he actually asked them about flying saucers at one point, and the spirit that he's talking to tells them that they don't know what the flying saucers are either. They seem to be some sort of natural life form that is generated by the planet, that they're similar to bees, but that they contain like basically pure information, that they're like packets of living information. And that they're USB sticks flying around.
They're the maintenance crew. Just think of them as a maintenance crew.
That's
exactly. What if they're just
the gardeners?
The planet? Yeah, they're the gardeners of the planet.
Like the one they showed, Tom showed, where it spools up and then poof, it just disappears. Like you're saying, it's coming in and out of. If they really filmed this thing, I don't know if that particular video probably was fake.
On Joe Rogan.
You can't believe jack shit. Like I think I've seen that video before, when he showed that, but like, I mean, it is interesting. People have seen that stuff. Like, what about the Phoenix Lights thing, man? Like, you think that was just like a sham type thing, but people did say they saw this massive fucking thing.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. A lot of people.
Yeah, I tend to think the Phoenix Lights are probably just experimental aircraft. Yeah. There's actually the idea, I forget, in one of the remote viewing books I was reading, they were talking about how some of those might actually be the reason they move so fast or they look so weird and flicker in and out is that they were actually high-powered spotlights reflecting off of clouds.
What?
Like
that sounds like Swampcast to me. I don't know.
It does, but I think that if you actually did that and try to do that, it would look surprisingly like a UFO if you had the right atmospheric conditions for it to look like that. I don't know. I think it's an interesting idea.
Well, they're talking about using lasers and shit up there, so maybe they could do something like that. Like, I mean, you're talking, like he was talking about fucking sending up CubeSats with lasers and shit, dude. I'm like that. I mean, there's probably, these things you're seeing, maybe, like, so if you're going on one of these, like Graham, these CSETIs fucking things, dude.
Oh, yeah,
like,
the CSETIs.
Lasers shooting around up there and you just see the end point of it, like some type of effect like that. Yeah. And like everyone's because they're putting on these night vision things or whatever. And then people are seeing so much shit flying around up there. Like, what is it? I don't, like.
Yeah, that's interesting with the night vision.
Yeah. I really want to try that. I'd really love to actually see what they're seeing. I mean,
I know
when they describe it, it sounds like what I saw the time I saw my UFO, and it was basically like just a tiny little light.
Do tell.
Yeah, it was just I was in high school. I was just looking near the moon, and I saw this tiny little light just moving around, doing little figure eights, and it looked like a fly was like flying around the moon. I don't know what it was. It was so far away. I didn't hear any noise or anything. It was just a tiny little white light. But it was just like Jerry. I remember Jerry mentioned at the beginning of the show that sometimes when people see things or experience something like that, they tend to rationalize it to themselves. And at the time, I was like, oh, it's just a star, and the star its light is being warped by the gravitational field of the moon. Which, when I thought about it like a week later, I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. But at the time, I was like, oh, that's all it is, you know?
Trying to rationalize it anyway. Man.
And, you know, I've talked in my other show, too, about the thing I saw in the woods. That was just like living geometry. It looked like sort of like a tiger from a shitty PS1 game.
Didn't Rensman have something like that on a rock? Or oh man, what was it?
Oh no, Jeff's thing was that he had this quartz crystal that he left outside for like months, or whatever, and he touched it to his forehead. And the same night, he saw like a gray in his room.
Wow,
charged by the moon.
Yeah,
so they have these stones that are charged. Like what charges a stone? Like like whatever. What light does?
Yeah, look up soluminescence.
I'm writing it down.
Mineral charging minerals, luminescent minerals.
Okay.
I know too. The CIA or maybe it was the NSA or somebody was doing experiments to see if like materials like rocks and stuff could pick up. They could like record conversations. Like the vibrations from the conversations would be stored. Like
that was in Fringe.
Holy shit.
That was in French? Okay.
I think, no, I might not have been Fringe, but I remember seeing it on TV where they captured the sound of a recording in glass.
Yeah, it was in glass, yeah. And I think that was based on actual research. I don't know if it was ever successful or if that was ever actually deemed feasible.
If it was in Fringe, it's reality.
There's a good one on Netflix. It's kind of like a new age war type thing where it's called Spectral. Did you happen to see that? Anyone?
Didn't watch it.
Well, okay, there's entities and basically they're converting humans into entities and they're burned onto like a pane of glass. And then these things are escaping from the glass and stuff and fucking people up and it's pretty wild. And they have yeah, it's fucking no. They come out of that, then they're like a vapor mist kind of dude, you know. Like it's really cool. Like the idea of they take a person, they break it all down into like this, into a spirit form, but it's like they're all evil. It's really wild.
Well, you know, in the Shaver mystery stuff, you know, the underground Darrows and Taros and that kind of thing from the 50s. Richard Shaver actually wrote that the Taros recorded data onto slices of rock, like geodes, and that they were called like rock books, basically, and that that was their data storage medium. And you know,
crystals.
Yeah, crystals. Yeah.
What would
totally?
So this isn't something that's seen. It's just encoded onto the object somehow.
Well, that you could actually draw out like 3D holograms from like the sort of slices of these crystals.
And there's stories like that coming out of Egypt. John Irwin and the 16 is one story.
How about that thing today, man? How about the thing today?
They found that secret chamber that they didn't know about.
Did you watch the little video? Did you actually see?
I didn't watch it. I just saw it.
Let me
like
show
7 minutes.
Show this to you guys real quick because I got to get out of here.
All right.
But this is the craft. Can you see my screen?
Oh yeah.
Okay. This is the TR3B.
And
this is the patent for it.
They actually have a patent for it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Triangular spacecraft by John Quincy St. Clair.
That's great.
Okay. Now, that's what this is exactly like where was that?
It was a couple back. I think you had
a Solomonic.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Triangle. A scrying triangle. The difference being, and this is what I pointed out to. There's another one here. Plus there was, this guy also has a patent. Dig this. You're going to like this.
Full body. Whoa.
This is a full body teleporter. And check out the setup for this thing. Boom.
Oh, man.
Dude. What is that?
It's the two pillars of
pillars.
Yeah.
The triangle and the circle, square in the circle, or whatever. But again, it's the same dude. Same kind of patent. Now, the difference I'll just point out is that when you're performing a Solomonic ritual, or I guess you could do this for a lot of things, you're within your circle, which is, consecrated, etc. You're safe.
I like this setup here. It's pretty wild looking.
That's a pretty nice setup.
I'm pretty sure this is like Ashen Chasen.
I'd feel all fucked up walking into that. Oh, holy shit. Yeah.
It feels awesome in the middle of that. But
it wouldn't feel wild. I bet it would.
Yeah. If you could see it, it's probably a giant vortex of energy. Anyway, look at the shape of the triangle there that they scry out of. It's the difference being that you're protected by the circle in these things. When you're using devices like this, 3B, who knows what kind of protection you have from whatever's going on here.
What if you're in that zone in the last picture in the room, and you can control something like this, like via thought form or something? I don't know. Maybe that's the way you can travel. Like if you can, I don't know.
Well, the big thing I want to mention about the circle of art that Jerry has up here is that the circle in the middle of the triangle is where the spirit manifests. That's sort of where you call it, and see how it has the three sort of the El Ka and me, like those are
Michael. It's Michael.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah, just exactly where the lights are on the UFO. So
and they're red.
This, exactly, and this ties into the idea that in Nick Redfern's Final Events that there's these little mentions that the CIA and the defense industry was utilizing occult technology. They were doing summonings. They were trying to get like people possessed with spirits and doing invocations, things like that. What if these triangular UFOs are literally like occult high technology?
Could be.
What if they just provide a portal to or a gateway?
Because typically when you see these contact experiences, people see the UFO first, and then they see the entities.
Yeah.
So what if that UFO isn't necessarily piloted by an entity, but rather calls the entity into being? It's like a mobile summoning circle.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like a telephone signal on the other end, and when someone can pick it up, that person has that experience with the object or whatever. Like,
I also have one more reference that goes with this is the psychomantium. It's kind of the same thing. I've heard of and seen people do it with candles. Well, they'll put a candle on either side of a mirror in a dark room with the candlelight, and you will see spirits in the mirror. You will. They're probably your ancestors.
And they just want to be remembered. So
it's more of a replay of their knowledge from your DNA because you have their DNA.
Wow.
That's what this is my opinion.
And Jerry, too, there's something I wanted to talk to you about, sort of these ritual setups, and that as part of sort of Gordon's idea of re-enchanting the world, I think that occultists should strive to actually innovate and create new methods of summoning things, and we should find new spirits. Like we should build on the existing technology.
We should make our own spirits.
So we can build our own chip.
Let's talk offline because I actually have a program that I'm writing that's interesting. Like that. But, keep talking about it. But definitely.
I just had this idea recently from watching the new Twin Peaks series, like that sort of glass box that the guys like watching. What if you could basically build like I've got this idea for a new sort of, I guess, scrying medium, which is basically like a summoning circle, but 3D, like inside of a glass box that then can be used as sort of an unfolded tesseract and can call things into, like, I sort of have this idea that it'll have sort of a hole in the bottom where incense can rise into the box and accumulate inside the box itself.
Energetic barrier around it to keep whatever's within and put it in its own circle.
And it can manifest the smoke into something, or like
no, the smoke is incense is just it attracts the spirits.
Okay.
Well, I've thought about the idea of using the incense as a medium for manifestation itself.
That too.
Yeah.
Like
little smoke monster in there.
Yeah,
dude, it'd be crazy. Yeah.
I want to see people innovating too and creating new things for us. Because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it does work, I want to see people making strides towards developing the technology.
We need to cross streams, man. We need to talk. We need to introduce radionics to some of this. That whole technology into the summoning.
Well, that's why I think things like ghost boxes and stuff are exciting. And when I was on the recent Conspiranormal episode, they had a guy in the background during the whole episode.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, he was running a random word generator while I was talking. And sometimes when I would say certain things, the random word generator would say, like when I was talking about summoning my demon summoning experience, it started saying demon, spirit. Like it started like saying things like that. and I've got these other ideas too. Like, what if Jerry, are you familiar with the works of like Trent Zelazny, like the Chronicles of Amber series of books?
Possibly, I've heard of them, but I don't think I've never read them. But I am familiar with them.
In the second series, there's a character named Merlin, who is the son of the character from the first series, and he is a computer programmer who basically creates a extra dimensional computer program that does like rituals and spells and things. And I've just had this idea in my head.
Idea.
Yeah, that you could actually create like can AI do magic?
An AI magic system? Yeah.
Again, it depends on how you connect to it. I think.
Oh,
yeah.
There he is. He does control the world.
Exactly. So yeah, we definitely got to hook up on that, Jerry, because I got some ideas. I'd love to hear your ideas on it.
Anytime you want, I'll talk. Except Wednesday night, Friday night.
Yeah, Jerry, you're amazing, man.
I got to go get my food, guys.
All right, man.
I'm going to be listening and in the car, so I won't talk. But
all right.
Okay.
Back.
Cool.
All right, dude.
All right, bye. Man. Yeah, that's pretty that's some pretty intense stuff. We're gonna have to take the intelligence level down a little bit now that Jerry's gone.
No, I mean, I don't know. I think we're hanging with them. I'm just gonna get back to like, what drives you, dude? Like, what happened? Is it just? I consider myself a sponge. Everything just coming in, man.
Just jumbled up there. Yes.
Now doing these shows, dude, it's fucking my brain all up, man. It's like I feel good. I don't feel nervous about life, but you feel like when you you turn on the TV. A lot of people are like, fuck it, unplug it. But I don't know. I enjoy watching some of that chaos, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's an attraction, but like. Yeah, I don't know. Something hit me too when I was younger, like that. Like, then it was always there, but like, and then these certain events that have happened, you start feeling a different way. I think I don't know how to explain that really, but
I mean, my big thing is that there is literally nothing that I don't want to learn, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I had this sense of my own mortality. In which, like, I know that I'll never get to watch every movie, and I'll never get to read every book, and I'll never get to learn everything there is to know. But God damn it, I'm gonna try to do it.
So true. Same here, man. I watched the whole Game of Thrones last winter. Fucking dude, I did it like a job. 3 episodes a night. I hammered through it, dude, and I'm all caught up. I'm waiting until the whole new one's done, and I'll watch that one because I get that little stupid HBO Go app, and I was like, I'll keep it for a month. You know, I mean, I made a commitment, dude. I plowed through it. It's just, I totally get it. Like,
I've had
I don't want to miss out on certain things, man. And it's like, Stranger Things, I killed it in 2 days. It's like,
And, like, as far as like exploring the paranormal and exploring the occult and stuff, it's like, I had experiences when I was a kid with like sleep paralysis and out of spontaneous body experiences and things like that made me know kind of that there was more to the world than what we could see. And so my whole, I guess, quest, if you want to put it that way, has been just to try to explore that world and find out everything I can about it while I'm still here. I mean, on some higher level, I tend to think about the real reasons for doing magic being sort of the Carlos Castaneda idea that Don Juan says that magicians, the work of a magician is to basically escape death. Like when they die, to preserve their ego and preserve their intelligence, instead of just being recycled into another life,
right?
And losing everything. I tend to think of my magical practice, at least at a high level, as being an attempt by me to try to escape the cycle of death and rebirth. Who knows if I'll succeed, but that's sort of my idea.
Yeah, I like that. What was that THC episode kind of talking about when you reach the end there and you have this choice and if you have the balls to go past it and just and go on to the other side instead of that loop like you're talking about. Like, I don't know what you have to achieve to get past that. Maybe it's like a con or something, like
I tend to think it's like a recognition of it, of like knowing it exists. I mean, that's the whole point behind like the Egyptian book.
Is that just faith in something? So if you're going through this thing and you're like, okay, it's okay to pass on to the other side, but and then people, okay, you're a bad person, so that means you're gonna loop around again and try it again.
Well, I tend to think it's more of just knowing how to die. I mean,
accepting it, like you're gonna die. I don't know. I'm not afraid to die. I mean, I have a family. I got kids, but I don't fear death. Like I don't know, because maybe like you're saying, I know I want to go past that. Like fuck it,
It's more like knowing the steps you have to take when you die in order to go beyond it, because it's almost like if you just die and you don't know what's gonna happen. I believe that you sort of just get shuffled in with everyone else and you get recycled. But the whole point of the Egyptian Book of the Dead is knowing how to die. Like when you die, here are the things you need to do when you die in order to like go on to the summer lands or whatever.
Is that like last rites or something like in Christianity? Like you get that when you die? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a guidance, except the Egyptians believed that it was your responsibility to do it. Once you were dead, it was your responsibility to do these things instead of some priest doing it for you.
Yeah.
Which is the whole
even talking about it, I feel like a buzz of it. It's like if you it could all, I mean, is it like I wonder if it's just a split second thing where everything you've learned in that split second, you're able to pass on. Like it's done. You like that light, you hit the light, and then all that knowledge you have, and then you yourself say it's okay to make that leap to the next level.
I think it's more like knowing, I think it might be, and I don't know. I haven't died, so I don't know.
True.
At least I haven't tried that yet. I don't remember dying. But
you ever
have
any
like
in 2012? We all died in 2012. Yes,
totally, dude.
And the afterlife is just mundane, regular life.
I sort of feel like it'll be more like, do I take the left path or the right path? Like it'll be like you're offered with choices in the afterlife or whatever happens immediately after you die, and depending on the outcome of those choices, and depending on whether or not you know what to do, that will determine what happens to your ego, basically.
Oh man! So if
I really think if you die thinking that, you're going to be fucked. Honestly, I do. I'm a strong believer in that. Whatever you believe the afterlife is what you'll experience when you die.
It's possible, yeah. I mean, it's probably built on your expectations. But I think there is an externalness to it. Somebody had mentioned this, I think, on Rune Soup before. But the idea that there's like a limited amount of time. This is why I mentioned the thing before about like human spirits of the dead. That when someone dies, there's like a limited amount of time that is directly related to the like body's rate of decay. Is like how long you're sort of ghost dad, and you can like go around and do stuff. Like, and that's why the Egyptians place such importance on mummification, because it was like, well, if your body's well preserved and it doesn't rot, then you get to spend a lot of time. Yeah, like you can stay longer, get more stuff.
That's why
done.
I've been here 1,200 years or some shit, like.
Yeah. But that's also why
I've actually heard it's 3 days.
3 days.
Time.
3 days.
But then that's also
you get 3 days to cruise around before you decide what you want to do, or like
maybe, yeah. That's the other thing. Apparently,
the soul stays attached to the body. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why Hindus
purgatory.
This is on cremation, is because if you go ahead and immediately cremate the body, well, then you're immediately reincarnated. There's no time to hang.
So you find the next pod to jump into or something, and then that's crazy. Maybe and then I don't know. Like certain people do say they experience somebody else's thoughts or something, like that experience or whatever. Like,
well, when Robert Monroe talked in his books about journeys out of the body and his books about out of body experiences, he most certainly encountered people who had recently died. He didn't encounter anyone who had been dead for a long time. He encountered people who had like literally just died and didn't know what the hell was going on. Like they were trying to
lost.
Yeah, they were trying to pick up payphones, and like their hand keeps going.
Man,
they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Oh, that is wild, dude.
Just like the movie Ghost.
Yeah, just like it. I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, like the Sixth Sense, where he's dead and he doesn't know it and shit, and he's going through all that, and the little kid can see him until like he finally realizes he's fucking dead. Yeah,
I mean, I think most
spoiler alert, James.
Because most people,
sorry, dude. Yeah.
I think most people don't know what's going to happen when they die, or don't have any real idea about what's going to happen. And when they do die, they don't know what the fuck is going on. Because they don't immediately go to heaven or hell or whatever. Like they're just stuck here and they're like, wait a minute, what's going on? And I feel like that's why it's important to kind of have a plan when you die. Hopefully, kind of know what you're getting into and can experience it and know where to go.
What was the one flick where they say they experience what happened when you die or whatever? So then all these fucking people started going to the island to die and shit. It just came out like a year ago.
Is it just a Netflix movie? Was it
it was like
the Discovery?
There it is. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, they like the guy's dad or something figures out he's able to play your life or something like that. Like
he finds out that there is an afterlife.
Afterlife. Okay.
Yeah.
And everyone starts killing themselves for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And then he finds out where they're really going.
Yeah, it's just basically your same life, but in an alternate dimension. Like you make a different choice. Yeah, it almost goes into that whole like there's millions of parallel universes where everything's going all at once, and you basically die and then just tap back into one of those other ones that are continuing at this time.
That's the sort of True Detective idea of time being a flat circle. That's the scariest thing to me, is the idea that reincarnation isn't reincarnated into a new life, but rather you just living the same life over and over again.
You just get absorbed by one of the other countless lives that are existing right now, or something.
Like the idea is that everything that has happened to you has already happened, and it's going to happen again forever. And I've had a pretty okay life, so that's not too bad for me. But what about like a kid who gets killed by like a missile strike when they're like 5 years old or something?
Fucked, man.
Like, are they just going to continue to die when they're 5 years old forever and ever? Like,
that would be brutal. I know, but yeah, it's like, so that person just experiences like fear and rage. This whole, it's their existence, and like, so we've made it this far, obviously. So like, if we died, and like, do these maybe slivers of experiences get passed on to onto yourself again? Don't turn left there because you hit a fucking
that
tree.
Could explain deja vu or something.
Yeah, it could. And then maybe that's why we've gotten so far. Maybe we've already done this. All of us have already done this.
We're playing that hard Mario level like the 50th time in a row.
Back in the day, I was like, podcast, man, I'm never going to listen. Well, who cares about fucking podcasts? And here we are, dude. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Of course, too. You talked earlier about like living other lives and like recorded memories and stuff.
Yeah.
There was a really good episode of I think A Culture with that guy who is really good at like doing lucid dreaming, and he talked about the idea that certain people can have lucid dreams that like go on for months or even years, or some people even said that they lived an entire life in a lucid dream, like grew up, got old, died. It's like that episode of Rick and Morty where he does
with Roy. Yeah,
with Roy.
Playing the game of Roy.
That's my favorite game.
You just live the entire existence. I mean, I've had a dream, like me personally, that lasted for about 2 weeks inside the dream. Like I went to sleep, had dreams within the dream.
How did you? Because you experienced time.
Did it feel like 2 weeks, or was it just
like 2 weeks? I woke up and it felt like I had been asleep for 2 weeks. Like I was like, because I remembered, but it was a totally different life. It wasn't my life. I was like,
I feel that too. I feel I live different lives. Like when I do that lucid dream, I can definitely do that. I can control my dreams, and I can be anything I want. It's fucked up.
My dream that lasted 2 weeks, like I was living in the desert with like a group of like nomadic travelers, and like I was living in a yurt, and I remember maybe it's like a past life.
Oh man, can you imagine that? So when you hit that REM sleep and you're conscious, so you have the subconscious and the conscious mind going, so that one shuts down, and you're able to access dreamland. I mean, what are the dreams made of? What dreams are made of? Like that flick, dude. It's like so if we can actually, like, we all try. We say this like every episode when we talk to somebody. It's like, let's all try to meet up somewhere. Like it probably is possible, dude. I bet it's we might not look the same. We might be something different. Like
that's like in the Matrix.
Our avatar. It's our ego. Yeah, it's like our avatar.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we ask our guests all the time on my show is, what, like on your 2 weeks dream, what skills did you bring back with you?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know.
Tough, man. You have a dream journal?
Because in the dream, I wasn't me. Like, I wasn't, if that makes sense. Like, it really was, I was living like a different life.
Yeah.
So everything I knew, I didn't really learn anything in the dream. I already knew how to do certain things that I don't know how to do in this life.
So you couldn't put a yurt together now?
Probably not, no.
that I find really interesting. And that, that's something we explore.
I really find the dream stuff. I mean, mine get pretty wild for sure. And like I've been trying to do the whole the next level of the lucid. What is it? The like an out of body type thing where you leave your body. Like astral travel,
astral projection or something.
Projection, asshole projector. Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be
As far as meeting people in your dreams and stuff.
Yeah,
I've done that once when I was in I think in elementary school. I had a dream in which certain things happened, and then I told my best friend at the time about the dream, and then she remembered the dream and gave me details that I didn't give her. And actually like said that she had seen me in the dream and had yelled at me. And I remembered it was like a dream in which there was a volcano that was about to explode and I was making my way to some sort of shelter. And I remembered in the dream, like hearing someone yelling for me behind me where I couldn't see. So it's like we were in this like shared dream state, even though we didn't meet. Like we apparently were both.
The vision was there. The vision of it, like
we were both in this, theater, this play of the mind. And so I think it's entirely possible to have collective dreaming for people to meet each other in dreams, and because it's like a part of me believes that dreams aren't just internal to you, that it is actually some sort of travel to
that's what I'm saying. Like you're accessing this, you're accessing that ether of thought, like
dream time, guys. Dream time.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, like we could just claim it as dream time then. So whenever we hit dream time, let's go hang out, man.
Well, about the out of body stuff, I mean, have you? What kind of progress have you been making in terms of
the only thing I've ever happened to me, like, and I was trying to do it, and I really haven't been focusing on lately or anything, but like the one time it happened, it did freak the shit out of me. But I woke up smiling and so happy about it.
Did you actually exit? Like, and
I went. What had happened was, like I would lay down and I would just do a breathing exercise, basically. To calm my body down, and then once I hit the one last breath, dude, my whole like right through the bed just zoof, and then it was like, dude, and then I was excited and I popped right back, but at the same time I was freaked the fuck out. You
get super excited and jerk.
It totally worked, and then like if I can hit that again, like it's almost the harder you try, the it's not going to work. You have to just calm down. Yeah, and it will happen. And
it's a practice thing. You've got to practice every night.
And that was fucking crazy, dude. Yeah.
And the first couple times you do it, you do get so excited that you just jerk back in.
Yeah, I woke up, I sat straight up. I'm like, holy shit, I was tingling, dude. It was kick ass, man. I was like,
you have to sort of maintain emotional control while you're doing it.
Yeah,
and sort of like not get too excited or too.
You see how I talk right now, so it's impossible for me. I get crazy, dude. I get all excited about everything. Like,
well, the good thing is that you have a positive view of it. It didn't scare you. Because that's the big thing. A lot of people do.
I don't really have fear of anything, dude. I mean, I guess I would have fear for my family. Like if something ever happened to them, that's about the only thing that I would fear. Like,
well, what's going to happen is as you practice more and as you're able to get out and sustain that state for a little while, I've written about this before, but you're going to start running into things, creatures, entities, whatever, that exist outside of you. And they're going to try to scare you and like try to get you to go back to your body, and you basically have to look them right in the eyes and tell them to fuck off.
You just say no, right? Or something. Yeah. Like it's weird. Like, and they just disappear. Like I've heard of that shit before.
They're just
the one where I was listening to I've talked about it once or maybe, but there was I was listening to a show. I think it was they were talking about Joe Rogan, an episode where he had the comedian Sinbad on. Mm-hmm. And I guess he was really deep into the astral travel, and he said he was like so far deep, like he got in a fight with one of those things and it like gut punched him and it fucked his world up, dude. And like he's never done it again after that.
he got
fucking
punched,
gut punched by some fucking entity, dude. Like, yeah,
I mean,
like
I think
some physicals happen to you in your fucking head. Like that's gotta warp your head, you know, your thought process, dude.
I've never run into anything that I couldn't handle, but I don't doubt that there probably are bigger fish out there that would cause you trouble. I know Soraya has talked about on his show how he's
done it, right?
He tangled with something and it was actually throwing him around and roughing him up. Everything that I've ever run into, I just wave my hand at it and it goes away, like, you know, and just blow stuff away. Because I feel like too,
that's so true.
In that form, you're sort of, I guess, like power.
Yeah,
our ability in that form.
You have your own abilities and powers. You are superhuman.
Yeah. It's based on your confidence, like how confident you are of yourself. Like it's all mental, you know. Like if
it's so true, dude. Like I tell my son or something all the time. Like I'm like, oh man, something was chasing me. I'm like, fuck that. Turn around and fucking kick his ass or tell it to leave. You're more powerful than Freddy chasing you, dude. You know, like, I don't know. It's weird. You can just stop it. You can be frightened to death and run like the wind the other way. Of course you could, and be so frightened and wake up in fear. But at the same time, I tell my kids and stuff, I'm like, dude, believe it or not, man, you could stop and turn around.
Have you ever had like the slow motion fighting in dreams where like you're trying to fight and you can't throw a punch? Like it's just not working.
Oh, dude, I get wild when I sleep. I've punched my wife in the face like probably twice in dream time easily. Like
the worst thing
crazy.
I have
crazy.
Every now and then I'll have dreams where I get like held up or something. And I've had a couple of dreams where I get shot, and that's terrible because like it'll just linger. Like I remember one dream I got shot in the head, like execution style. And I remember just like hearing it ringing, just like I woke up and it was like I felt fucked up for like a whole day. It just like
it's so true because I never know what you look like or anything in these dreams. Like, are you whatever you want to be, right? You can lift your hand up and it's a Mickey Mouse fucking hand or something. You know, you never. I don't know. Like, if people say, "Oh yeah, try to look for your hands," and that means you were probably in control of what's going on. I mean, that would be the easiest way to do it. If you can see your hands, I want to move my hand up. Yeah. Well, you know, there you go. Where's Sean at, dude? He needs to do his fucking Mickey Mouse.
But what's interesting too is think about the way you hear to other people in this dream state. Like I've talked about this one out of body experience I had where I was like I came out of body and I was like traveling around sort of like a dark park or something. It was nighttime and I saw a guy sitting on a bench and I was like, oh, I'm like, you know, in ghost mode. I'm going to like see if I can interact with this guy. Because typically whenever I've seen people in an out of body state, they can't see me, you know, like I can like yell at them and stuff and they can't see anything or hear me. But I get like within like a couple of yards of this guy and he just turns and looks at me and his fucking eyes go like really wide.
Wow.
And he looks terrified. And then he like takes off. He like flies off like Superman. And I'm like, oh shit, he's out of body too. So I start I start chasing him. Like I fly off after him and he outruns me in the end. I like trying to grab for him and stuff. But I'm thinking to myself afterwards, like, what did I look like to him to scare him so bad?
Yeah. What were you? Were you the demon?
Yeah. Was I like some kind of big monster? And he was like, holy shit. He ran away from me. And I'm sure the fact that I started chasing him didn't make him feel any more safe.
He's like, he's fucking gone, dude. Yeah. Oh my
God. So like, it's interesting. And think about what your self-image looks like. And I've talked to this too. One thing I think will help people when they're in that out of body state is not to look for your hands because you don't have hands. It's like that scene in the Matrix where Morpheus is like, do you think that's air you're breathing? You know,
so you're actually it's just like a thought form. You're like a visual window just fucking cruising around everywhere. I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously that's what you're seeing in your dreams. What's that, Jerry? Jerry, what'd you say?
Body. Your energetic body.
Yeah.
Okay. You're like an energetic, an electric beam type thing or something. Yeah.
I try to get people to think about it in terms of you being just a thought form or just energy, because I believe when you start to look for your hands and look for your feet and you start to think of yourself as a human
creating,
you're like limiting yourself in terms of what you can do.
back into a vessel.
Like you can be anything. Your thought. You can be anything.
That's so true. You could be a tree. Yeah, you could be a tree. Yeah.
Like
you literally could. I know when you start thinking about it, you could whatever you've seen, whatever. Yeah. And maybe experiences like this where we talk about this, we can come up with the more craziest stuff ever, dude. Like,
and one thing, especially flying in an out of body experience, is something that takes people a while to get a hang of, because if you start seeing yourself with a body, well, your body can't fly. And so you start to lose confidence in your ability to fly, and you start going back down to the ground, and you start having to flap like a bird, like an idiot.
Or swimming, doggy paddling through the sky. Yes.
So have you made it to astral projection? Like,
I've had involuntary, just spontaneous out of body experiences, and I've also had controlled ones. The controlled ones are hard to do. I mean, I've never been that great at making it happen, but I've been able to do it before. Most of mine have been just like spontaneous, where I'll have sleep paralysis and then I'll transition that sleep paralysis state into an out of body experience.
I've never had the paralysis. I've never experienced that, but I definitely can do lucid, and I've done that thing. It's just I've never been frozen up in an experience. I've heard of people. I've had my old guitar player in my band, and he had that happen to him where he was just frozen and something was above him and shit. Just crazy, dude. Like he couldn't even. He barely could breathe. He said, like,
I think the breathing thing is something that scares a lot of people because it feels like you're choking. But that's just because when you're asleep, your breathing becomes very shallow. And so your body is in sleep mode. It's like,
what do you think? Is it just something consciously that you leave this door open and something can come and fuck with you, man? Like, I don't know. Like, is it like, cause if people aren't experiencing anything that in their entire life, then all of a sudden one night they go to sleep and then wham, you wake up with this experience, like how, then they have to believe a different path. Right. So maybe, I don't know, like if it's a wanted experience in your subconscious, like, because you've heard of something like this before, and then so one night, you go to sleep, and then this thing can happen to you. Like, I don't know.
I think that's what happens to most people initially. I think mostly everybody's had one before. Even my girlfriend doesn't really believe in stuff, has had them before. I think they just tend to, maybe happens when they're kids and they
write it off, right? Yeah,
it's just a dream, and. I think it's a really common thing that happens to people. It's just that people never think about it in terms of, well, I can control this, I can practice this, and I can learn regularly, and I can use this to do things.
Right.
Like, I mean, you could use it to find secrets. I mean, you can use it to spy on stuff.
That's okay. So if you think about that, it's the ether. You could go back in time. That's time travel, right? So using a thought form of experience and knowledge that you have, I mean, just trolling around the net, like whatever we're doing, we're talking about things, we're listening to all these super smart people that have studied and done all the work, like throughout time and history. I don't know about going into the future but that exists also on a plane, so
maybe
if everything is going around at once, like that whole blinking universe thing, bam, it's over. It keeps happening over and over. So you could travel as far back as the eye can see, right? I don't know.
I think you can also travel to places that aren't here too.
There you go. If you're experiencing an entity from another dimension, gonzo, dude. Fuck it. Yeah, because I like that.
It's that psychic spy idea that the American government started doing remote viewing research.
Remote viewing, right? Yeah. Who was the guy who started that out in?
Well, the remote viewing protocols were developed by Hal Puthoff and Russell.
Puthoff, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and Ingo Swann, and
that Puthoff guy, he's involved with fucking Tom DeLonge. Like he was like the guy, which is weird. I don't know.
The big thing about remote viewing, and I just want to make this distinction: remote viewing itself is different from out of body experiences, they're tapping into something too with that. That's almost a magic type thing, right? Remote viewing is more like doing like scrying, like you just meditate and you like see things that you're remote to, but it doesn't necessarily involve you actually experiencing like you're physically there, like you would in an out of body experience. Joe McMoneagle, I think he did a really good episode on Skeptico where he talks about the first time he had an out of body experience and how different it was from his remote viewing experiments, and like how that kind of opened the door for him. Actually, There's another thing too. Something interesting that Robert Monroe brings up in one of his books is that he has this experience where he actually possesses the body of a person in an alternate universe. Where when he has an out-of-body experience, he goes to this alternate universe that is kind of like our world, but not exactly. Like it's in like an alternate timeline.
Earth 2, whatever. Yeah.
And he actually possesses the body of this just normal guy, and he like goes to work in this guy's body. And,
oh man. And the day in the life of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he realizes that after he's doing experiments like this for a month, he's like fucking this guy's life up. Because this guy thinks he's going insane. Like he sees how his family's falling apart.
What if these experiences that you have and trauma in your life are fucking things fucking with your...
It's somebody hijacking you.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. Now you've just blown my mind, dude. Wren, you're badass, man. That's fucking crazy. Now I'm scared.
I mean, you look at cases of like possession and stuff, and maybe possession isn't a demon; it's just some asshole.
Some asshole messing with you, dude. Yeah. Oh my God! He made you turn left and hit a tree, you motherfucker. You know,
because what if they do things to actively hurt you? You know, what if they
because
they don't realize what they're doing? They think it's just like a game, or you know.
Right. You're then you're the you're the player and you're the host. Yeah. So like Jerry would say, if it's a simulated thing, and then in the blinking universe of everything happening, everything's accessible, right? So the sky's the limit, dude. I don't know.
I mean, think about what we do when we play games like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
And we jump in this character's avatar, and then we cause him to murder people and like run his car off a cliff and stuff. And it's like, what if there are entities that come into us and just use us like that?
Like a video game. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get too into this because this might upset some people, but I mean, just sometimes when you hear cases of like mass shootings and stuff and people are like, oh no, he was a completely normal guy. I can't imagine that he would do this.
MK Ultra.
What if it wasn't him that was doing
it?
Dude,
you're blowing my mind right now. That is so true, man. What if, oh my God. Yeah. Like, okay, here's a Grand
Theft. What if he was a Scientologist though?
Just lighting people up.
It was the what's that term they use for the space ghosts that were blown up in the volcano?
The Thetans? No, they're not the Thetans.
Yeah, Thetans.
Oh, the Thetans?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Amazing stuff, dude. Yeah, like
it's interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Anything's possible. We don't know.
Yeah, if you okay, it can be. Anything is possible. You close your eyes and poof, anything's possible, dude. And that is crazy to think that that your dreams are just solo, but actually they're not. You're experiencing anything and everything all at the same time, of what you want, time frame you want. I mean, man, to tap into different stuff like that, and we were talking to oh man, the whole electric. Do you know the electric universe stuff?
A little bit. Soraya keeps getting me to try to like read up on it. But
I'm huge into that, and like, well, just with, and so we had on
Walt Thornhill,
and he's one of the founders and creators of the whole theory, which was I couldn't believe we actually got to talk to this guy, but it was amazing. And it was like our third show, dude. Like one of our friend Suzanne, she set it up, dude. She just emailed him, was like, hey man, what'd you do? And then boom, he's on the show. Like it was crazy. And we talked about that whole thing too, like through consciousness and having, okay, so I want to go to Alpha Centauri or whatever. And in a thought form, he's like, fuck a ship, dude. You can fucking think of it and be there, and that through that ether, through those electrical patterns throughout the universe, it's all like a hive mind, like this, imagine the brain and all the, you've seen,
all connected.
Digital imagery. It's all connected and you zoom out of it and it's just a giant fucking brain, like it's all connected somehow.
It's fractals.
Where's and if it's not the end, where is the end? If it's a plane it just keeps expanding as time moves on, and so everything happened in a blink and then it turns over again. When you think about that, it seems like it could happen. I don't know.
Are you familiar with the idea of the one electron universe?
No, I don't.
I
think
never
I've
heard that one.
yet.
Let's hear it.
So
Lay it on me,
I'm really good. I'm going to blow your mind here.
Yeah.
So,
oh god,
it's an idea. Okay, it's just an idea. It's just a postulate.
Right.
Proposed by John Wheeler. He was a friend and colleague of Richard Feynman. The idea is that all electrons and positrons aren't actually like separate. There aren't multiple electrons. It's all one electron moving backwards and forwards in time. Feynman said that he got a telephone call from Wheeler one day at the graduate college at Princeton, and Wheeler said, "Feynman, I know why all electrons have the same charge and same mass." Feynman was like, "Why?" He's like, "Because they're all the same electron." And the idea,
like a cloned electron.
No, it's just one electron. The idea is that, like, okay, so
the whole our whole existence is one electron.
Yeah, the idea is that so like electrons as they move through space-time create something called a world line. Rather than having a bunch of world lines, Wheeler basically suggested that they're all parts of one single line that's like a huge tangled knot traced out by one electron, and that any given moment in time is represented by a slice across space-time, and it would meet that knotted line in a huge number of positions, and each such meeting represents a real electron at that moment. So basically, if you imagine a huge tangled knot,
if you had a straight line going across and all these things, like dipping up and down, and wherever the line has crossed, all those things can intercept that line, right?
And from our perspective, it looks like they're all individual entities, right?
Yeah.
Because that cross section intersects many parts of that line.
Right.
It might intersect 1,000 parts of that line, and so it looks like there's 1,000 different points. Really, it's all just one
same point.
It's all one line, but you can access all that shit. Yeah. Man, I wonder how. Yeah, I don't. Man, this is badass, dude.
That's good.
I'm ripping on this, man. This is.
I mean,
it's
what's
an
idea
called again for everyone?
The one electron universe.
One electron
theory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm into this.
Idea, but it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I love stuff like this because it's just knowledge. It's just things to soak up, because like what happens with the whole electric universe here. Like, I really am into that. I don't adhere to any system or belief or anything. It's just like you said, you want to soak in all this knowledge. So that's kind of what
we're very non-dogmatic here on Cruzin with Steak. Let's hear all the ideas.
I am nothing and I am everything.
Yes.
Well, you mentioned like going to Alpha Centauri. I mean, that's one thing. When the Australian Aboriginals were told that men had went to the moon, they were like, "So what? We went to the moon."
So what? Who gives a shit? Yeah,
they were like, we've been there. Yeah. They were like, we went to the moon thousands of years ago.
It's like you move past that nuts and bolts part of America at the time in the 40s, when that's what they were doing. We were creating things. Things were booming back then.
Dude, it's a whole lot to do with like we were talking earlier with how like the spacecrafts and stuff kind of look like Solomonic magic, and with how the Third Reich was deep into the occult. Like, that's just known that they were into that. Totally. And then with Project Paperclip, we brought a lot of them over here. So maybe just they brought the occult with them and found out like, holy shit, this stuff actually works, because I don't know, the Nazis did terrible things, terrible human experiments, and probably proved in books that this stuff works, like human sacrifice or whatever.
Now like, turned into like Tylenol and shit. It's like all these things that they did on these people. I mean, it's just brutal.
So
man.
I'm sure they're using magic and shit.
Yeah.
Higher up.
Well, one thing we keep, I think,
guinea pigs, dude,
in that sort of group has the wrong idea, and that's why I think the space program is the wrong idea. In that we don't need nuts and bolts spacecraft to go to space.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Wall was saying. He's like, you don't even need a ship, dude. Yeah. He's like, yeah, it'd be cool as a human being when you want a Harley.
Yeah.
Okay, but when you do that, but like you don't even need the Harley, but we just want to make it badass. And I can have a Harley spaceship, and we probably could still do it. Like. Because we can think about it, we can create it. Why not?
I would argue that the NASA's rocket program and all the stuff that they present to the public is actually a cover for how they're actually moving around.
Why spend the money? Why have the money though? Like, why all that work and thought process informed into building rockets?
Not that many people know. I don't. Again, it's the
dude. They think they're just doing their job too, right?
Exactly.
So, okay.
Compartmentalized. Nobody knows what's going on except
that makes sense to me. Then, yeah, like it's compartmentalized. They're just everyone's doing their job. Like they always talk about the Area 51, like or whatever. These guys just solely work on one section of whatever, so they don't even know what they're making. Yeah,
I've said this idea before in other places too, but I've got a hunch that so if human brains, like if a sufficiently complex organic creature can do psychic stuff, if it can have out-of-body experiences, what's to say that the reason we haven't seen alien spacecraft is because they're not coming here in spacecraft,
right?
They're coming here, they're astrally projecting here.
That's the 1% of the unknown, like it's 99% us if it's flying around, whatever the fuck it is, a drone, anything. Now you don't believe shit on YouTube,
or is it us from the future? Yeah. Well, maybe we're catching glimpses of a time when we have these ships.
How many things can experience this thing in the sky? How many beings, us, all of a sudden see this thing from another dimension for a split second, then it disappears.
How many alien civilizations are looking at us building nuts and bolts rockets and being like, Jesus, what are those monkeys?
What the fucking doing? Yeah.
Like, why don't they just?
They're playing with Legos. They're playing with Legos.
Yeah, we gave them these advanced minds to do this. They're just like,
fucking around with this. Why aren't they come over and hang out over on our planet? It's
the perfect example of this is when Ingo Swann confirmed that Jupiter had a ring before the Voyager.
Jupiter, okay, wow.
He did a remote viewing experiment because he got bored with all the mundane experiments they were having him do at SRI, so he remote viewed to Jupiter, and he was just to see if he could, and he was like, there's a ring, and nobody believed him. They're like, Jupiter doesn't have a ring. Are you sure not around Saturn or whatever? And then a couple of years later, oh wow, Jupiter does have a ring. Like Ingo was right.
God, there was one beautiful one where they were explaining he was completely on a different planet, and it was like where all these hierarchies would go and stay in a hotel and shit. Mm-hmm. It was fucking amazing. They were like, it was like one of those scenes out of like Star Wars where you got like 4 moons or whatever right there. Mm-hmm. And they said it was like the most beautiful thing he's ever seen in his life. And that's where people would camp, like, well, not camp out, but it was like a hotel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a part in one of Robert Monroe's books where he is having an out-of-body experience, and he's sort of being guided by this other kind of alien entity who's also in out-of-body form. And he's taken to the moon, and he sees all these like spacecraft around the moon, like all kinds of different types and varieties. And he's like, "What the hell are they?" And the guy's like, "Oh, they're space aliens." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, it was he was apparently in the future, and it was apparently right before mankind evolved to the next level of consciousness. Like it was going to happen that day. Like something was going to happen to people's minds that caused it to expand. And they were here to see the show.
When was that he said it was?
I don't know what the year was. I'd have to go check the book. It was in Far Journeys, I think.
I wonder how close we are.
Yeah. But it was interesting that they weren't here all the time. That they were just here to see the show. It reminded me of that one episode of Doctor Who where it's like the when the sun's about to explode and all these aliens just come to like see the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're just spectators. And I mean, I don't doubt that there are probably alien civilizations who also build spacecraft and stuff. But I think as we advance more in psychically and as we advance more in the occult arts, I think we'll find that the most popular method of space travel will be basically using your mind. And I think that most planets who have, alien life, they don't colonize other planets. They just hang out on their home planet, and basically virtual reality all over the place.
Mm-hmm. I really think that each, I'm going to call them realms, each planet, each realm, whatever, has a specific skin suit that can exist there, or skin suits. Mm-hmm. So even if you flew there, or even if you could fly there, which I would argue is impossible, you couldn't land there because you're not a frequency match for whatever life form is in that realm.
Well, I've said this before, that I think the idea of planetary colonization, especially colonization of Mars and Venus and other things, is ultimately a folly, because our bodies evolved here on Earth. And I think they're like intrinsically tied to this planet and its environment and its magnetic field and every little tiny factor that makes us like able to live here. I don't think you can just transplant that to somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a big reason why I don't think rockets are real. Because I don't think you can leave the planet and live.
I mean, they're making something, dude. I
think you can. I think you can. I just think it's dumb.
You don't need it. Yeah, you don't.
Yeah,
need
there's too many precautions. Yeah,
you'll have to bring rocks with you or something. You're going to lose your energetic connection to the Earth, to the morphogenic field, if you will.
Well, that's why.
That's the magnet. The magnet back home.
Yeah. Basically. No. See, I do agree with that, Jerry. I think that's one of the big reasons we haven't tried to go to Mars with a manned mission is because I think that once
afraid to get back, right?
Once a human body leaves sort of the magnetic field of the Earth, I think
you're not human anymore.
Yeah, and they know that the first death on Mars.
Think about
bad PR.
You would totally die. Yeah.
What if the Van Allen radiation belts hold your body together?
Yeah. I mean, like I think maybe it holds together at least like your neurochemical functions.
Like you said, if we're this single one electron. And then if you're trying to split, from this field, like Jerry was saying, like you got to bring something with you or something, like then that part of you don't, maybe you just poof, like
I just thought about this, but there's an interesting analogy there in vampire lore about how a vampire has to have within their coffin land like soil from their homeland,
right,
in order to travel to somewhere else.
Yeah, because they can pop in and out, right? Like if we go, I don't know a lot about that whole vampire stuff. Like, I mean, I know it's a thing. Yeah, but like,
old vampire lore was that basically in order for like a vampire couldn't just bring a coffin and sleep in just any old coffin. Yeah. The coffin had to contain
coffin, right? Yeah,
it had to contain soil from like where it was buried, which is similar to like what we're talking about. Like maybe we've got to take some of the Earth with us.
We're advanced vampires.
Maybe we have to treat the Earth as our spaceship.
That's the ship, right? Yeah. So like the moon is its own spaceship and it's locked in with
maybe that's what Antarctica is. It's just the giant thrusters down there and we've just been traveling and traveling.
You see the holes in the ice, dude.
Maybe. Yeah. They found something down there.
But that's a journey to the inner Earth, right? So we go into there.
Who knows?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that was paradise at one point.
We're just bacteria on a spaceship. That's all we are.
Yeah.
We're disgusting human beings.
There's this anime called Die Buster where in order to kind of in a last-ditch effort to take out sort of the big monster at the end of the series, they hook up all these rocket thrusters to Earth and turn Earth into like a kinetic kill weapon and just shoot it.
Fucking A, dude. Yeah.
I love anime.
I was watching it was like what's one of them sci-fi shows where they turn their ship and they wanted to take something out. What the fuck was that? Never mind.
Well, there's that one Benbow novel, Bowl of Heaven, where like this human colony ship or human like space exploration craft comes across like an alien world that is literally, it's like a giant shell built like a half shell, like a bowl built around a sun, and it uses the sun as the thruster. And it's carrying with it like all the planets of that solar system in which alien civilizations live. But it's literally the planets are the spaceships, and they're using the sun as the thruster. And it's always
that's kind of the model of our
the sun. Yeah, that is true. The sun's traveling through, and it's
if we're the whole thing. Yeah, that whole our solar system. Yeah, like along with all the others. Of course, it's got to whoever's in maybe it's a different version of us in the other system, like it's crazy, man. And then you could pop into that. That would be, man, you start zooming out and you've always seen that one image where it's just like, I mean, there's a trillion of these systems, and it's just deeper and deeper and deeper. It never stops. Like,
and it's whether or not we want to like admit this fact or not. I think people have pie in the sky ideas what's possible under our physical universe's laws. I don't think faster than light travel is something that's going to ever be possible. I don't think things like wormholes or teleportation are ever going to be feasible. Like interstellar travel, I don't think is ever going to be physically feasible in our universe.
It would destroy your body, right? Like,
well, even in terms of the
soul, like how do you transfer your soul? That's the weird part. Yeah. So are we just always stuck here then? Like,
I think so. I think we are kind of just stuck on Earth. Now, I think we could build machines and AI and stuff that could then travel out that don't have the same organic.
It doesn't need organic, like, which is what they would do, right?
Which is what they say the Greys are.
Right. Yeah. So we build drones and that they look cool like us because they want to be in a like image of what a human being is, right? So
yeah, or I mean, you could take it to a certain level too and say
it's a robot.
Why couldn't you perfectly replicate things like human wonder? And
God, dude, we're gonna turn into the dude from an Alien. You know, that fucking guy, dude.
Ren, what if
space jockey?
Space jockeys.
There you go. What if it's all not like they tell us? What if space is completely false?
Well, I don't know. I guess hopefully I'll find that out sometime.
Then it's all,
that's all it is. And that's what's cool. That's what's cool about talking about all this because it's mind blowing, dude.
Well, here's the thing. Based on what I was saying, you can go out, you can astrally travel, and you can go out and you can check for yourself what's in space.
That's what I'm thinking. That would be my. Because it's something that maybe somebody experienced. Like, okay, that astronaut saw whatever's in space, and then you can tap into this and that
just put it into the collective unconscious.
You put it into that vision board you have when you fucking go to sleep in the dreamland. Boom, dreamland is where it's at. Dude.
Boom, we got it.
Yeah, that's it. Straight up. I think that's the way it is. All this stuff we learn and pile it in, we can see whatever we want.
I mean, yeah. What if in some sensation we're by existing as humans, by living out human lives and doing research, what if we are just building like an
AI world
or a galactic encyclopedia of knowledge?
Total. Yeah. Okay. There you go. That construct,
the Akashic records.
Yeah.
It's like in what the fuck? Interstellar, where he's like just in those.
Oh yeah, the strings.
Yeah, he's just
like
in
like
it.
string theory or some shit.
String theory of
5D library.
Yeah. The
and you can fuck with shit. It's crazy, man.
I mean, what if that's our purpose? What if that's the point of living organic lives is in order to build this compendium
that construct, right? Yeah. So that Akashic record.
We got to think if there are other entities, if there are other dimensions, maybe they don't know what it's like to live in a 3D world. Maybe we're building. I mean, that was sort of the Grant Morrison idea that he said that the 4D machine-eled entities told him that Earth, our universe.
So it slowed us down by what we do, being human does. It's weird.
They explained to him that in their sort of reality, like time didn't exist. Like there was no concept of time. Like there was no progression of events. There was no like cause and effect, basically, and that they created, the multiverse or different universes, ours included, but as a place where time could flow. And things could grow and evolve because they couldn't do that within their own world.
And that they could experience things because they don't have any way to experience events because they have no time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was thinking, going back to the electric universe thing where we were in a net 4-planet system. If you're familiar with it, it'd be Earth. It goes Earth, the moon, Mars, Venus was a comet. In between that and then the sun. So at one point, if this was a different time period where things were happening on Earth, that would have been like dinosaur time and shit. Like, so things as the Earth is moving away from that, it's causing issues with Mars and all that, and it's creating this electrical discharge that just destroys Mars and the moon and everything. It gets all fucked up, and then we're in a totally different pattern now, which somehow created life on our planet.
That would explain where the alleged asteroid belt comes from. All that rubble, something got destroyed.
Yeah. So as we're moving away from all that, like humans are evolving, or somehow we got here. We were around both. Like there was something going on Mars, obviously.
Well, there's all the ideas that we're Martian colonists, that we escaped Mars and colonized Earth. I mean, that's
exactly. So there you go. So then all of a sudden these people are here.
Is that just brainwashing to make us want to recolonize Mars or something? To make it seem like that it's possible.
It's all
a Native American story.
It is a great story, the whole electric universe, but they're trying to prove that it's real, and they're really close. I think that it's more real than fucking what they're telling you now. Like,
well, but Elon Musk is a reptile. I mean, that's a known fact.
Dude. He's the
AI,
shit,
dude.
man.
He's
Yeah,
AI.
did you guys see that? Did you guys see that Zuckerberg video where he was like, "I was human." Like, he's like, you're all.
I was human.
I was human, and then he's like, "Wait, no, I am human." I mean, and he starts like laughing and playing it off or whatever.
Check out some of his photos on Facebook where he
They
goes,
are weird. He
"Here
posts
I
some weird
am
shit,
at the
right?
gravesite of a fellow former human," or something like that.
Just random person, right? Yeah.
He did that weirdo VR conference thing in Puerto Rico, and he's like, his like avatar is like standing behind these scenes of like utter human devastation and destruction, and he's like, and this is what's so cool about this is what's so cool about VR. It feels like you're really here.
When I do want to experience that though, like, what if we could just do that? We can go. Okay, we have the Zoom room now.
Plug into the Oasis.
Fuck it, dude. Why not? I don't know. Then you can really visually go during daytime instead of dream time. You can experience it, you know.
I bought like one of the HTC Vives and I've been playing around with it, and it is cool. Like,
what you got the Vive thing?
The Vive, yeah. I don't know if it's Vive or Vive or whatever, but
whatever. That Vive. Whatever.
I got one of those, and like the new Google Maps app for it is really cool because like
it's gotta be amazing.
It feels a lot like how it feels when you're doing like
astral travel, right?
Because you can just fly around. The only problem is that you got like textures popping in, and it's like the low res shitty version.
So they're hooking you up with ads. Is there ads like when you're I'm checking out the pyramids?
That'd be
I'm
great.
Googling.
It's very much like
I paid the $10 a month for ad-free travel.
in some cases, it's cool because it's much easier than just having an actual out-of-body experience. But in the other case, it doesn't quite match it, though.
There's the jobs of the future we got to count on. So when we're in these VR worlds, you could be like, "Hey, man, come over to my place. What I created." It's like your own fucking Minecraft or whatever.
Yeah, you can actually with the Steam Home app, you can actually just download environments that other people have created. Like I downloaded the red room or the Black Lodge from Twin Peaks, so I can like walk around the Black Lodge.
How does that feel like when you're doing something like that?
It's interesting.
Does it give you a headache and shit like when you take this thing off, or do you feel okay because you want to experience it?
Like, it's the stereoscopic side is good enough that you don't really. I haven't got any motion sickness from it. The only time I've ever gotten sort of disoriented is actually doing like some physics-based experiments where like I'll have like grappling hooks and I'll be like zooming around some buildings or something, or I'll like there's like a ski jump one that I did where you like go down a hill and like do a ski jump, and it does make your stomach.
I want to try. Yeah,
like
even though your stomach drop. It did.
Yeah, even though your feet are on the ground,
it's getting real. It's getting for real. Then
it still makes your stomach drop because your eyes and your brain just can't. It still processes.
Yeah, I want to build a whole VR computer system with my son. I want to buy the components and build it all, and just have it powerful enough to run some software.
Yeah,
like
you need
that.
a beast machine to run that. Definitely.
Yeah. Like, I'm thinking at least. That system alone, the Vive thing is like $800 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like $800.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if it was worth that much money. I mean,
right.
my thing
it's
is
not there yet, right? It's it's getting there, but yeah,
it's very much early technology. I think you're going to see the prices come down, and you're going to see the weight. The big thing is the thing's fucking heavy, and it gets hot.
Yeah,
and and it's like, and the resolution isn't super good. So you're like flashing blue over there. The resolution isn't super great. So I don't know. I think given another couple of years, the technology is going to really improve. Like right now, it's like the early VHS sets or whatever, and I think it's a technology that's going to continue to be adopted.
Oh yeah,
and will be something that is super integral to technology in the next couple of years. I mean, especially like one cool. I like seeing people do cool, innovative things with VR. Like one of the coolest things I've seen so far is this program called The Wave, and it's literally a VR concert space. So they'll have concerts every month and at a certain time. So at a certain time on a certain night, you'll put on your VR set and you'll be in like a big audience with a bunch of other people, and you'll watch like this live performance that's doing things that you can't do in a normal experience. Like there's floating geometry and all kinds of crazy stuff. And that's cool to me. It's like, because it's creating a communal space that people can exist in regardless of like where they are. Like, it reminds me, like we were talking about, like sort of like the Dreamlands or whatever, Like, and I think you'll see more of that. I think like conferencing, meetings, all that kind of stuff is going to be done in VR.
It's next level social media.
Yeah, it will be.
Yep.
It's not there yet, but 5-10 years, it will be.
It depends if they let all that secret space program tech out.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I read an article today that said that AI is going to write its own Bible and create a God by 2040. Like they're going to like it's all crazy. I don't know.
That whole thing, I think they're putting.
I've ever heard of.
Yeah, I mean they're putting human ideas and human ideals onto something that is intrinsically not human. I think if anything, what'll happen if there is some sort of actual self-replicating AI that can learn and that kind of thing.
Terminator?
Well, no,
Maybe.
I think you'll see something more similar to what happens in Ian Banks's book, Fearsome Engine, and that basically these AI retreat into their own sort of pocket, network universe, on the net, and they replicate and they learn and they basically become completely alien to mankind. Because they can reiterate and self-replicate and learn and advance way faster than evolution can keep up with. So at some point, they don't really have anything to do with us at all. They sort of exist in their own universe and are completely foreign to us,
And they come back to us and haunt us and abduct us.
What about the robot that just got citizenship in Saudi Arabia, though?
Sylvia or
Sophia?
Sophia.
Come on.
Did you? Radagast took offense to that name.
Really?
This beautiful organic name, that's what Gaia is to him, is Sophia. Because he's not. Anyway, excuse me. He was totally offended by that too. Beautiful thing to this inorganic abomination.
I love inorganic abominations. I wish I was one.
I'll
be the first one. I'll be the first one to give up my flesh for a beautiful steel silicon body.
I was saying that the other day. Definitely, bring it on.
Take out my brain. I don't even want a human body. I want a fucking spaceship body. Just take out my brain.
But would it still be you, Ren? Would it still be you? Or does does the brain need the body to be one? To actually be you?
I'll find out if I get the chance.
Well, here's the thing. This is my problem with that. Is you can't guarantee that your consciousness, you, gets copied.
Yeah,
all you
that's
know
true.
is because for all you know, they kill you when they do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and then they could just put a copy of it into the computer, and it makes you think you're real because it's just your thoughts or what. I don't know how it works, but you know what I'm saying. How do you know it's really you?
That's the idea of the philosophical zombie. Like,
and what malware have they installed on the way?
Well, the other idea too is those thesis or the grandfather's axe paradox, right? Where if you have an axe and it's your grandfather's axe, your grandfather used it for decades, like cutting down trees or whatever. It has a certain spirit to it, has a certain quality to it. So it's your grandfather's axe. It's not, even though it's completely physically similar to any other axe in existence, it has a form that has been given to it because of use and memory. Now, if you get a master, sort of, if you ask a master craftsman to completely replicate that axe down to the molecular level, right? They make it exactly the same. Is it still, and they destroy the original? Is this new one that is on the surface completely identical? Is that still your grandfather's axe?
No.
But, I mean, it's exactly the same. It is.
It is.
Physically.
I don't think it's a philosophical conundrum, though. I think, no, it's not.
Yeah. I mean, well, people like us immediately think no, because we believe in things like spirits, and we believe that objects can have.
It had the energy of just the swings from the use put into it.
Yeah, right. Plus just the intention and focus that was put on it during those times. It's the same as martial arts.
We have to admit, these are things that are intangible. These aren't things that we can quantify.
They are. And this is the problem with science today. They're very scientismistic. It's a cult.
Stuck in it. Yeah, they're stuck in it.
It's more of a cult nature, because if you don't believe them, then you're a retard or you're an idiot or you weren't schooled right, and they're using that as a basis to change curriculum and whatnot just because people don't believe them. You know, what's the difference between them and the Vatican? They tell us this shit. All we can verify is the basic physics here on the ground. You know,
Right.
okay, yeah, we know that gravity allegedly works this way and yada, yada, yada. But, you know, as far as what's going on out in space, and it's just all math.
I'm skeptical of peer review, too.
As far as your own body is concerned, I think like 7 years, every cell
You
in your
shed every
body
cell.
is different,
Mhm.
right? So you physically aren't the same person that you were 7 years ago. I mean,
That makes
literally,
sense, yeah.
you're an entirely new body, but you're still you,
Your
right?
skins is shed off. Yeah, everything it changes. Yeah, constantly.
You're completely, for all
Scuba
intents
suit.
and purposes, you've been completely reconstituted and remade, but you're still you, right?
That's just
Like,
your physicality.
maybe.
It's not your
Maybe
consciousness.
There's
Yeah, but that's what I
there's one consciousness that's connected to you the whole time, right? I
Right,
guess.
but what I was getting at with the scientism is that they're inherently materialistic and they will never waver from that. Maybe
Well,
someday, but
I think that's useful if you're doing science, because right, you can only do science with a big S using things you can measure. I mean, you can only, that's just how it works. I mean, like if we look at science as a toolkit rather than a religion or a dogma, you know, like as less as a way of
agreed.
thinking.
Totally agreed. So the question then is, how do you get them over that hump to make tools to measure these effects?
Well, that's the big thing about like magical systems, and that's why magic is referred to as a science as well as an art. I think that, you know, things like being able to replicate your experiments,
Like the works of Skinner, Dr. Skinner, PGM stuff.
exactly. I think that's important, and that's what we have to focus on in paranormal stuff. We have to focus on like keeping good notes, not making this stuff too fucking mystical, making it accessible to people, doing peer review, not locking
Easy
it behind
travel.
secret societies, like making the knowledge democratized and available to everyone, and sharing notes with each other, and working on new techniques and refining existing techniques, because that's science applied to this topic.
But you can already see the resistance in your head building from every group out there that's going to say, oh, it's evil. Oh, it's demonic. Oh, it's going to kill you. Oh, it's this, it's that. I mean,
Well, that's why I try to get the word out there that it's hard. It's not, because we have to. It's never going to be something that's adopted and used by a lot of people, as long as it's not easily accessible to everyone. And I think that's something that the internet has really made possible. And it's something that, you know, we don't have any need to keep secrets in magic anymore from people.
we have no need to keep secrets at all from anyone. But I'll draw an analogy here for you of adopting non-materialistic science into science. Look at the fight that's going on over vapes right now. The cigarette companies and their lobbies and whatnot are all up in arms, banning, lobbying all these groups to ban e-cigarettes, all the bad press they've gotten, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's the kind of attacks that you would get if someone had set up a parallel non-materialist scientific group, for example, and they adopted science's rules. I think they would get that sort of attack, maybe it's a bad analogy. It's a bad analogy. Never mind.
Well, I mean, you do have the element of, especially like vape and stuff, about how much it improves people's lives or improves their health.
Yeah.
It just improves the way they, I mean, like, I know I quit smoking like physical cigarettes like 6 years ago.
Yeah, I'm 5 years now.
I'm 4 months. 4 months today.
I didn't even vape for a long time. Like I
5 months.
used vapes to quit smoking, and then I didn't use any nicotine for years. I recently started reusing nicotine again because I came to terms with it. I'm like, that's a nootropic. It helps me concentrate.
There's nothing wrong with nicotine.
There's nothing wrong with it, dude. Yeah,
It's like caffeine. Well, I mean, it's like caffeine. What's wrong with caffeine? It can be, if you use too much, you can probably get a heart attack.
Yeah. So I recently came to terms with that and started using, vaping again. But it's like just the quality of life improvements. You can't necessarily quantify those things. So
no.
But the companies just look at the
walking up the stairs without being winded.
Yeah,
that's a bonus right there.
Just the mornings are so much better. Not having that the wheeze and the hacking.
Crystal clear and white boogers.
Yes.
Yeah, man. That iron lung, dude, when you had a long night. Oh
yeah, just drinking, you smoke like a pack and a half, and then you wake up the next morning just can't breathe at all. That was the worst.
Fire, dude. Fucking hurt so bad.
Yeah.
Don't miss
Wake up
that.
feeling like somebody.
Basically, every breath you took for fucking 4 hours, every breath you took for 4 hours was a hit of a cigarette.
Yeah. And you smoke them to the filters when you're drunk too, so you're just going all the way down. Just suck it
Light
up.
off the end of the other one.
Yes.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
Good times.
My God, that was a mess.
Throw an 8-ball of Coke in there and you got it.
Boom.
I had an experience like that one time in college. I was going to art school in Pittsburgh. Yeah, well, with like a Scarface type night. It was pretty crazy. Like, dude had a hotel room, kind of like Paddock, but no guns.
With one suite.
This giant fucking suite full of fucking Coke, dude. It was insane. I was up for 2 days. It was
The thing about that though is that
I was messed
down
up.
your door and
I was
snort
messed up, dude. I did not, and then, like ever since then, I've only did that maybe like 2 more times after that.
My whole methodology as far as that's concerned is I never buy it, but I always take it if offered.
Hey, man,
there you go.
That's how I treat it. If you
one
got
of the
it,
best times I smoked a doobie at this metal show once, and it had fucking Coke on it. I was like, wow, this is badass. Yeah, and it was just a freebie. I mean, it was kick ass, dude.
Yeah, the only thing I've
that's
ever
my
really...
philosophy with liquor, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I won't pay for it. But if you
I
buy
quit
it,
drinking. Yeah. Oh God, I don't even remember. So I don't know what's it been. August. Yeah, the beginning of August.
That's been about 2 months, James.
Yeah, 2 months, no drinking. I'm done with it, dude. Yeah.
I used to drink a lot, but I stopped for just health reasons. Like I started getting bad like gout flare-ups in my feet.
Oh, dude, I'm almost a mess. Yeah. Oh my God.
So I was like, I can't. So I don't drink beer anymore. But every now and then I'll have like a cocktail because liquor's not that bad. But I never really had a problem with alcohol or anything. I always, even when I was like in my 20s, I'd get drunk and stuff. But some people I knew just got so much into it. It's like every night.
Yeah.
But even
I
that's
think
really, it was like I'll drink if I'm having a party, but I never just like.
Oh, I started when I started like hanging out with like Jerry, all these people like on these chats over the last few years, and like I just would stay up all night. I'm like, and at the same time you're dealing with life, and like I was dealing with shit, and it was just like fuck it, dude. Every night just fucking hammering beers. Like I didn't never switch to liquor or anything though, and if I did that, I'd be in trouble, no doubt about it. And but I was never a big liquor fan. Maybe a shot of maybe doing those like Red Bull and
Jaeger bombs.
Jaeger bomb.
God, that's disgusting.
Oh yeah, man, I fucking slammed them, man.
I guess in my worst years, I guess like early 20s, I used to always, before I would go to the bar, I would go buy a bottle of Mad Dog 2020. Woo! And I would slam that before the bar.
Got a pregame. Yes.
Yeah, that would be my pregame.
Remember Firewater and those things, dude? Aftershock. Remember Aftershock?
Yeah.
You ever seen that one?
Oh, I've still got a can of original Formula 4 Loco.
Whoa!
It's probably disgusting now because I think it's probably like 10.
It'll be like 10 years old. Yeah.
But I just keep it as a memento of my halcyon years.
I got into a few of those. I started drinking Red's Apple Ale, dude. I crushed those because they were like 6% and they were so good. It was just like drinking Kool-Aid, man. Just boom, boom, boom. I used to crush them. Gained like 20 pounds.
There's this stuff that you can get in Alabama called Cisco.
Yeah.
That is like, it was banned in a lot of places because it caused people to go into like violent fits. But you can still find it some places, right? It's just like a fucking bum wine. It's like super cheap and like you just got a lot of sugar in it,
Oh, it's like Ripple.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a really funny Mad Dog story, which is probably not appropriate for this podcast.
Everything's appropriate for this podcast. There's no filters.
No, I don't want to tell it for recording, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I want it offline.
Okay.
What it is, it's lyrics or no. There was this guy, there was a band we used to see when we were kids, when I was young, in my 20s. And the guy's name was Stevie Starlight. He's still around. I don't know if he plays much anymore. But it was Stevie Starlight and his band, and it was whoever, a guitarist. He's a guitarist, had a rhythm, a bass, and a drum. And they played rock music, some original, some not. But a lot of his more famous songs that he's played over the years, like for 10, 15 years, 20 years, have these long, drawn-out, nasty stories to them. They'll play an intro a little bit, and then they'll quiet it down to a slow dun, you know what I mean? As he'll talk and explain the impetus for the song. And one of the songs is called Jetstar 88. And the story behind that involves a bottle of Mad Dog 2020, some White Castle hot chocolate, and a girl named Fifi, and I'll just leave it right there.
I think what's the song called? That's going to be the intro music.
Jetstar 88. I can get your copy of it.
Okay, sweet.
And I'm sure it's not on YouTube's copyright list. It's not nickname for it. Libsyn will publish anything, right?
Yeah. Oh, you can put anything on Libsyn. Definitely.
Oh, Ren, remind me to tell you about my crypto idea.
Bitcoin's up to $7,000.
I know. I bought more last night. I bought more yesterday.
Oh God.
I'm waiting for the retrace. I think it's gonna hit something. I think it might hit like
88,000
or something like that, and it's gonna get Elliott wave back down. I think probably 5,000.
I do too, dude. You're an Elliott wave, dude.
Yeah.
Me too. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. It's definitely
you're like my twin from Minnesota.
It's definitely on the fifth wave now, and it's gonna correct. And so I'm kind of just saving up some fiat for when it corrects, and I'm gonna buy some more.
Yeah, but if you look at it closely, it's forming its third wave. It's an overriding third wave.
Really?
On top, yeah.
Okay, I need to look at it again then.
Go back farther.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. Maybe I'll miss the boat. Maybe it'll shoot up to 10,000, but I still feel like it's due for a correction. I'm just sad because all my fucking alt bags look like shit right now.
I know your Lisk, your poor Lisk. I saw it.
Yeah, my Lisk. Actually, I just wish I had more money right now so I could just buy more Lisk.
Yeah, me too.
I still believe in it. But it's like, yeah, my Lisk is all down. The bad thing is right before this last big bull run, I put money into a bunch of different alts.
Me too.
Because Bitcoin was stable.
Yeah.
Alts seemed like they were going to go up again because Bitcoin wasn't doing much. And God.
But I realized why that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Because that last dip was not a reversal. That was it was caused by fundamentals that did not exist.
Yeah.
It was Jamie Dimon coming out and saying that Bitcoin was fraud.
Mm.
And it was the rumor that China was going to ban exchanges or ICOs or something like that.
Yeah. Well, so during that last big dip, when that happened, I actually traded it all the way down and actually made a little bit of Bitcoin shorting it as it went down and selling back.
Now, are you leveraged on that or are you just doing one contract?
Just one contract.
Okay.
Yeah. And then as it went back up, I didn't earn much from it.
I know one contract,
like half a Bitcoin or so from it. But because I didn't want to go all in on some short and then fuck myself.
Right.
But as it came back up, it was kind of stable there for about 3 weeks. It wasn't really moving much. It was hovering right around between I think 4,000 and 3,000. And I bought a little bit more Bitcoin and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to put some money in some alts. I'm going to try to maybe get a little bit more Bitcoin before the next big run. And then, I mean, the thing is I'm trying not to think about it in terms of USD.
I know, me too. I was thinking that today. It's so hard, right? You got to think, okay, wait, I pay ETH for that.
Yeah, because it's like, I could sell all of my alts that are down 20% right now and still make money technically.
Well, good for you.
Because, Bitcoin's price has gone up so much that I could still sell for a profit. But the thing is it means I'm going to end up with less Bitcoin than I started with. And that's all that really matters.
Right.
Instead of having 1.5 Bitcoin, I would have, 0.8 Bitcoin, which means that when Bitcoin goes back down, all that profit vanishes. So I'm honestly, what I've been doing the past couple of weeks is I've just not even been checking the markets. I got my
you can't look at that shit. You'll go crazy, dude.
I got my sell orders in. I know exactly where I want to sell all of my alts.
That's what you got to do. You got to disconnect from
You got to zoom way out, dude, and just fall way back, and then follow that pattern. All it does is go up and down.
Yeah, all of my alts, I zoomed out for several months. I looked at the patterns and I said, okay, it should hopefully it should go back up to this level that it was at.
Right.
Because I see the same pattern over and over again. I can reasonably expect that we'll see an uptick eventually.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and set my price points. I went ahead, put in my sell orders, and I'm just going to leave it alone and wait for those emails to come in from Coinagee to let me know that the sale took place. I'm not going to fucking try to.
Sorry, go ahead. Not gonna.
No, I'm done.
Try to micromanage it. Yeah, stop limits are the way to go. No, is anyone doing options yet? Futures.
CME Group just announced that they're going to start doing Bitcoin futures, which sucks. Yeah, I know you're thinking exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
they're jumping into
no, they're going to manipulate the market.
The market. Yeah,
it's going to be like trying to trade Forex, and the
Forex feed is such a bitch to parse.
Yeah,
because they would die if people created their own currency, dude.
that has been why so many people have made so much fucking money in crypto in the past couple of years. It's because
I just saw something like somebody was running a house on crypto, like they're actually doing it.
I mean, people have made millions of dollars on it, but they've made that much money because the market is filled with amateurs. I mean, I'm an amateur. It's filled with people who have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
Right. Yeah,
and
they're just there.
They're easy to manipulate. They're easy to scam out of money by doing pump and dumps. And once we've all knew this is going to happen, but once the big traders finally start moving in, all that easy money is going away. It sucks, but that's just what's going to happen.
Like playing poker at a table full of sharks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I mean, what I've been telling people now is that honestly, if I had just put all the money that I have just into Bitcoin and just left it alone, I would have way more money today than all this trading I tried to do.
Yeah, you get stupid.
I had 50 Bitcoin.
Oh, nice.
I had.
Didn't you buy that when we first got together? You got some money.
It was 2012, around 2012.
Oh, you got the good price.
Yeah, I was paying. It was under $20 a piece.
Pennies on the dollar, man. Yeah,
and I had 50 or 60 because I was buying stuff off Silk Road occasionally.
What's Silk? Is that another one?
Silk Road's the underground black market that ran on cryptos. God. You get anything on Silk Road, anything.
But here's the thing, and this is why Bitcoin will never work as a currency.
Yeah,
can't spend money. You can't use something as a currency that has that kind of volatility. Because if you spent half a Bitcoin on something on Silk Road in 2012, that same amount of money,
$2,000 or something, right?
Exactly.
But you remember how it worked? All the prices were listed in US dollars. And then when you paid, it calculated how much Bitcoin you had to send.
Yeah. But even so, $50 in Bitcoin in 2012 was a Bitcoin.
Right? Bit and a half, yeah.
So nowadays, if you had just kept that Bitcoin, you would have $7,000 today.
Right.
So it's
0.00001 Bitcoin.
Yeah, you can't. That'll never work as a digital currency. It's more like a digital gold or digital store of value.
Mm-hmm. It's a digital stored value, right? And to that effect, all those sites that run like that have their own wallet that they control. Mm-hmm. So there's no minimums, there's no the transaction fees handled by them, etc. Right, but that also puts your coins at risk, which is where mine all went.
I mean, the big problem with Bitcoin too, and this is something that is not being addressed strongly enough, is that it is enormously inefficient. Bitcoin mining is incredibly inefficient. Nowadays, just a Bitcoin transaction, like mining one block, takes up as much power as powering your whole house for a month or something. And this is not scalable at all. I mean, this is why coins like Ethereum and Lisk and other coins are going to delegated proof of stake versus proof of work.
Bitcoin Gold.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean,
isn't there a Bitcoin Cash too or something?
Yeah, Bitcoin Cash. It actually has gone up. It's tracked Bitcoin up this run this week.
I'm surprised that Bitcoin Cash is doing well. I really am.
Too. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm just I'm hoping that I can get a little more Bitcoin in my wallets before November 16th when the SegWit 2x hits, because I know Coinbase is going to match what you have. And that's what I missed out on when Bitcoin Cash when that fork happened. I didn't have much Bitcoin. I had everything in alts. So I didn't get any Bitcoin Cash out of it really.
Well, but you've got Bitcoin Gold now. You know that, right?
Did Coinbase give out Bitcoin Gold?
No, if you were on that block, which is 409,717.
Yeah.
If you were if you had Bitcoin on that block or before that block, rather, you get that amount in Bitcoin gold automatically because it's a blockchain fork.
That's already happened now, right?
Yeah. So I'm telling you, and it's worth
I haven't checked it. Yeah.
It's $138 each right now.
I haven't checked it yet. So yeah, I probably do. And on the 16th is when SegWit 2x happens, and then
14th.
Bitcoin 14th.
I don't know, 14th or 16th. But
then that you'll get that much as well. That when that fork happens too.
Right. Well, here's the thing: that there's no wallets yet that can support gold, BTG. So until you get a wallet that can support it and get your private key imported into it, you can't claim your Bitcoin gold.
Oh, okay.
So that's the deal. But you do have an equal amount. Just like if you had 100 Bitcoin during the fork of Bitcoin Cash, you would have gotten 100 Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah. I remember that.
No, I was telling these guys.
Oh.
Right.
It's a bonus. It's like a split.
It's free money. Yeah, especially Bitcoin Cash.
That's crazy.
Is, what, like $400, almost $500 now?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's if you had 10 Bitcoin, that's $5,000 right there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing.
So I got into this. Going back to the thing about the US dollars versus Bitcoin thing, the thing that didn't screw me up, but just made me loop in my head was I got into this coin called Kick. It's like a Kickstarter coin that you can create a campaign. Are you laughing at me or vaping?
No, I was vaping.
Okay. I said go back like this and go. For some reason, I'm looking at James. I don't know why.
Everybody's looking at James.
Hells yeah, dude.
Anyway, it's called Kick ICO, and you can create your own campaigns there, which then get Kick holders can use those coins to buy into the other ICOs.
Yeah, so
it's a platform.
An Ethereum token? Like
the
ERC20 token?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the one came out recently called Storiqa, STORIQA, which is a storage you pay for with their coin that's on the blockchain, storage on the blockchain, which is awesome. And I had 600 Kick, which I paid less than $50 for, I think. I don't really remember. But then I got into Storiqa for 100 Kick, which gave me 17,000 Storiqa tokens. Because it's like super pre-ICO special if you use their coin. And I basically got 0.2 ETH for those 100 coins, which now ETH Explorer tells me are worth, I think, $15.
Oh, nice.
Total. So it's like I got 17,000 of these tokens, man. But if that goes to even $1, I'll be great. But anyway, those are the kind of wins you can get when if you get into things early like this.
Well, that's the magic of. That's why a lot of people got really rich off of ICOs. But I mean, that's also why the FEC or the SEC, whatever, is stepping in to kind of shut that shit down.
It's not the getting rich thing; it's the idea that it's a security. So if you're, it's goes back to the idea: if you start a company, you can't sell 100 shares of stock 500 times.
Yeah.
So, and that's when you're in that kind of situation, you have to look at it. Is this a security? What portion of the company does it represent? Then it needs to go into the SECs. I'm not saying I agree with it, but
well, it's definitely a step that needs to happen for further adoption of it. Because I mean, there are a lot of ICO scams, and there are a lot of ICOs that were literally just pump and dump schemes.
Oh, absolutely.
No prospectus, no real plan,
no white paper
development. Yeah, exactly. They're just doing it it's just Ponzi schemes.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean that
Petite was just one that came up I heard about. Petite. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that it gives the whole blockchain ecosystem sort of a bad reputation when people get scammed like that. I mean, I personally don't mind because I think it's individual responsibility to research these things, read the white papers, determine for yourself whether or not it's a good investment. But, the world's full of idiots who don't do stuff like that. And they cry about it. And then the government has to step in and protect them. But, and I say this as a person who was, manipulated and scammed. I lost a bunch of, not a bunch of money, but I lost a significant amount on Monaco. Back when, when Monaco was shooting up to the moon, everyone was saying, Monaco has the Visa deal. You know, they're going to be partnering with Visa. They had pictures of the Monaco Visa card. You know, everyone on Twitter was like shilling it, like, oh, everyone, you got to get into this. It's going to shoot up 10x. It's going to be huge. And this is when I was very new. I bought into all that hype. And, you know, I put a good chunk of cash into Monaco. And then the day came when the Visa announcement was supposed to take place, and it didn't happen. And then all those images of the Visa card with the, you know, the Monaco card with the Visa logo disappeared from their website, and the price just shit the bed. I got out pretty quick because I did have stop limits for myself set, but you know, that's money lost, you know, and every time you lose money like that, you got to get twice that amount to get back into the profit. So
I'm afraid that the OMG coin is kind of the same thing right now.
OMG?
Yeah, it's Omisego. I bought a bunch, and I've been buying it on the down swipes because it got got to like $12, I think.
Yeah,
and Cliff High's WebBots even brought it up, I think, or there was a hit on it, something like that, going to $10 or $15, possibly $100 by the end of next year. So
I'm holding on to my OMG. I don't think OMG is a shit coin. I think it's got a good team. I mean, that's the whole reason I'm still in Lisk, even though Lisk has gone down so far. I haven't sold any. My big thing about Lisk is that it's a delegated proof of stake coin, and I'm actually earning Lisk just passively by having Lisk. So, like, you know, I'm not going to sell it because if I sell it, I'm going to earn less. So
let me tell you about something I got called Wild Crypto, Wild Coins. Have you got any of those?
Mm-mm.
They have an eco mining program where you deposit your coins into their wallet and you earn interest on them at 8.33% per month. And your money's locked. It's like a CD for 6 months, but you can leave it in for a year. I put all my coins into it because it's going to go up, like the first month 170, the next month 190. You know, it's going to keep going up and earning more and more and more, and it'll double by the time it's up. So as long as it doesn't tank, I will have doubled my stake.
Yeah, I mean that's why I like Lisk, even though the price is like down 50% or whatever from earlier, like last month. It's still higher than it was this time last year, and I'm earning it just by simply having it in my wallet. Right. So it's like I have no reason to get rid of it because it's going to go back up. I know that, you know, I know people who work on the team. I've read their white paper. I think it's a good project. They're about to have a rebranding, probably, if not by the end of Q4 this year, by Q1 next year. And we see what happened to Ant Shares when it rebranded to Neo, went up like 500%. So if this list I've got goes up 500% when they rebrand, I'll be sitting pretty. So
basically have a really cool name.
like Cruzin with stake, man. Like we're talking about all this
stake coins.
Yeah, man. We're talking about all this these number transactions. You know, Cruzin with stake accepts we have PayPal, and if you want to donate to our show, if you want to donate, fucking be my guest, man. Yeah, we should get a Bitcoin thing going too. Yeah,
you say that.
Donate Bitcoin. That'd be amazing, man. You can keep all our lights powered for, you know, as long as we can keep.
No, recording. You guys should just leave.
We only got till the 4th though when they fucking turn the power off. So.
Well, yeah.
I think I was getting
and Super Soldier Antifa.
Maybe getting that there, Jerry.
Getting what?
With the radio coin that you were talking about. I didn't talk to you about that because I think I know what you're getting at there. We'll talk about it later.
Yes.
Nah. Dun, dun, dun. He knows things. This guy knows stuff.
That's what I want to talk. I already bought the domain. I've got the coin already picked out. I'm deciding on a platform to deploy it, and then I just
this guy
to write it. No, it's.
Can I get in on the cheap?
Yeah, because we're going to sell coins.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm down.
So,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people don't. That's why I'm so bullish on crypto stuff in general, is because this is the infancy of an entirely new economy. I mean, this is literally the ground floor. Like, it seems like Bitcoin at $7,000 is a lot of money, but just wait 3 years from now and tell me $7,000.
It's more than that, though. You got to think of it. Think at a higher level, more that we've been under this monotheistic monetary system, central bank run system for so long that the capabilities, the the different things that can be built on blockchain technology are just pretty infinite.
Yeah. Well, I've said before that I think blockchain technology will be as important to technology of the next 10 years as TCP/IP was to networking.
Definitely.
It's going to be an integral part of basically database technology. People think it's just like for money or economy-based things.
Mm-hmm.
You don't realize that it's an incredible database technology. Like blockchain database technology will completely get rid of things like MySQL, Oracle DB, everything. All of that stuff is going to be replaced by blockchain style database. Like
they'll just become access layers to it.
Exactly.
Where I was going with that idea though was if once people start to realize the different ways that they can do commerce, put it that way, right, through these coins, through these tokens, that may be this conscious awakening coinciding with that too. As people become more creative in thinking about the ways that they can spend this or do things with this. You know, maybe that's the one thing that we're lacking right now is that creative spark.
We can make our own satellite to take a picture of the Earth.
Yeah.
I'm just saying to wake people up. You know what I'm saying, Ryan, right? Maybe that's that spark that'll kick us over that tipping point.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a conscious gathering, to mine this coin. Yeah, it's like
well, it's the first time in history that there's ever been a way to keep to have a completely
to get out. Yeah.
to have a completely trustless like database of like transactions and things that isn't controlled by any one person, that is like a consensus based system that it cannot be manipulated.
That isn't closed on Wednesdays.
Socialism.
Yeah, socialism.
Yeah, I mean that's why I've tried to get leftists involved with blockchain stuff because I'm like, this is probably the most democratizing, equalizing technology that's
the anarcho capitalists they call themselves.
Yeah,
anarcho
caps.
Yeah,
and caps.
I just wanted to I got some news here that needs to get in.
All right.
Westworld production on season 2 has been halted.
Uh-oh.
The sex robots revolted.
Damn.
Due to a medical emergency involving a performer in a recurring role on season 2 of Westworld, filming on one of the 2 units has been temporarily suspended.
Uh-oh. He's a toucher? Was he a toucher?
He was not on set, and out of respect for his privacy, they don't even I've read somewhere else that he hit his head. He fell down and hit his head, and it's serious.
Oof. Wow.
Wait, who did?
They haven't said. A male actor.
So let's see. What will that one of the main the main dude?
Bernard.
That's a great
it could be Anthony. What's his face?
The father guy, or the creator guy, right?
The old dude. He's old.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins.
He fell, right?
He couldn't get up.
Life alert didn't go off.
Life alert.
Help! Yeah, I can't get up.
Where's the bee?
Well, we've gone for quite a while. Closing thoughts?
Hell yeah.
we got some closing thoughts here.
Oh man.
Everyone do magic. Don't be scared.
Yeah, let's just stay calm and
jerk off on squiggly lines.
Exactly.
Jerk off on squiggly lines.
Honk your PUD 2 sigils. Honk it.
Take 10 deep breaths and you'll be fine, dude.
Exactly.
And see you in Dreamland, man.
Yes.
Dreamland.
Now, where can everybody find you at, Ren? Get in contact with you.
I mostly am on Twitter. I'm at Mister _APOL. It's where I shitpost most of the day. And I also, as we mentioned in the beginning, have a blog at liminalroom.com. And I also have a Discord that you can hit me up on Twitter, and I can link you to it.
Maybe. Maybe, if they're cool.
Yeah, if they're cool.
Yeah.
If you're cool, we'll let you into
that room.
Hook me up with that link. Dude, I'm not in that one yet. I got to get in that one.
Yeah. And, just hit me up if you want to chat about stuff. If you want to chat about magic or...
Yeah, there's some cool people in there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Excellent.
Yes, like a creepy sky chick. Dude. Man, I don't know what she is. I don't know. I don't want to be wrong.
It's she.
It's a she? Okay, I wasn't sure because it said something. Anyway, yeah. I was surprised to find her in there because we've been following each other for a while on Twitter. It's like, wow, you're in here too.
Yeah, I invited her because we were part of another Slack channel that got disbanded. People like to just completely nuke their Slack sometimes.
I know.
And it's
Like
irritating.
Darren.
So yeah, so I invited her over, and I've been friends with her on Twitter for a while. So
no, she's very cool. I was giving her
definitely.
a shout out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man. This has been awesome, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do this again.
These last few shows have been fucking mind blowing, man, and I'm loving it, man. Thank you so much for coming on, and I can't wait to talk again, dude. No doubt about it.
Yeah,
definitely. Cool. You guys have a lovely night.
All right.
All right.
That's
Are we done? Are we staying on?
Nah, we're done. We're done.
It was a plain old day. It was a plain old day. Just sipping on my lemonade. And also chilling in the shade. Waiting for that day that I get paid. On the rock and roll jukebox. The rock and roll jukebox. That's me on the rock and roll jukebox. But maybe I should take my dreams out to the curb. Next to the trash. Nostradamus, you fit right in there with the prophecies of Nostradamus. Lottery ticket, the lottery ticket. Lottery ticket, the lottery ticket. You feel me? Can you feel this? Can you feel this? Broken heart, broken heart. You use too many plastic bags. You use too many plastic bags. Second verse, there's some more important matters at hand. Like earlier in the first verse when I said I was chilling in the shade, sipping on my lemonade. That was a flat out lie. Actually, the time being, it's the dead of winter. I saw the greatest minds of my time black out in the media buzz. Can you feel this broken heart? You use too many plastic bags. You use too many plastic bags. You use too many plastic bags. Please don't tell me that our future is as bleak as it's seeming. All you beautiful minds out there, keep on dreaming with meaning. Can you feel this? Can you feel this? Broken heart.